year is he? Do you know? Is he a senior?
He's draft eligible no matter what.
Hurts the stock though.
Oh yeah. All right. Everyone, go peep it.
I can't wait to do a live episode of the draft this year, and just get absolutely plastered.
Must be nice. I won't be able to.
True, because it's on live. You could.
No, I could get a ginger ale bottle and just fill it with
Ty,
whiskey.
nobody knows what's inside your Yeti cup. No one does.
High school style.
I could do that too.
We're live though. Someone go check and make sure my borders are good.
Cut that.
Good, but you got to move the characters around. The peoples.
Oh yeah, shit, my bad.
It looks good though.
Dude, this is just an endless game of like finally it works. There we go.
It works, whatever.
I got the border now where I don't have to change it anymore.
Ha!
Good deal. All right, cool. Yeah, did you guys see that text? That's just what I have written down, and I mean, if we're good with it, then we can add stuff. But if it works for you guys, it works for me.
Yeah, I'm always down. I'm gonna tweet this out real quick.
Yeah.
Duper, rock our weekend. I don't know why I said that cut me right there.
Also, what's wild is two of those. Well, I mean, technically, I gotta add another team on here too. Yeah, so that coaching carousel list is actually 8 teams because technically
the Raiders
and Texans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Texans.
Wait, the Texans? No, the Texans hired a coach last year. They have a coach. They didn't fire him.
That dude was interim because they weren't sure about the Deshaun Watson bullshit.
They hired a new coach starting this year. Yeah, they got rid of Bill O'Brien last year. That was when they had an interim coach, and then they hired this guy. I don't even know who he is.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know if he's going to be around necessarily though, because I mean,
to be honest with you, I think that he did a pretty good job with what he was handed.
Well, with an injured Tyrod back and forth and the best QB in the fucking draft, other than Mac Jones, yeah.
Yeah, David Mills was kind of a stud.
Fucking old Davy Mills, long-necked motherfucker.
I cannot believe Deshaun Watson did not play football this year.
I totally can. You can't have 26 allegations against you and expect to play
football.
No,
but I'm saying I'm surprised.
It's been tweeted.
No, but what I'm saying is if he would have tried to play football, then the NFL would have just suspended him, and then his suspension would have started already. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like the whole like Kareem Hunt thing. It's like Kareem Hunt suspension couldn't start until he signed with another team. You know what I mean? You know what's also crazy is Ray Rice was kicked out of the league for life.
It's been tweeted.
I mean, I'm perfectly cool with it.
Honestly. I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I'm just saying that was a crazy one. Like if you get kicked out for life, like that's big time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely okay with it. It's pretty simple. Just don't beat a woman. But like,
it's valid.
All right, yeah, we good?
Do you want to do the like? I think we should talk about the coaching stuff and then go into the games and like go whatever. You know what I mean?
Do you want to do coaching stuff first?
Yeah, because I feel like if we mix it in there, then it's like we're gonna get off track. We're definitely gonna get off track.
Okay. So do you want to do coaching stuff, then recap the Week 18, or do you want to recap Week 18 and then go coaching?
That's a great question. Evan's t-shirt he got me is in the wash. Can't wear that. And my hoodie I left, is in my hamper as well. Fuck it. Go Birds. Let's see. I say we recap Week 18 coaches, because that obviously leads into Black Monday.
Black Monday.
And then we'll go to the next.
Then just talk about who won, got in, who won to play.
Let's talk about college football first, though, so we get it out of the way.
Yeah, that'll be quick and easy.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so after the mile hike, well, we don't have it, so after Cal's Corner, we'll talk college.
Are we just like, do they not, they don't want to like produce?
They did it Wednesday. They did
Wednesday. They got to quit doing it on Wednesday.
Last week. I don't know.
Like I said, I saw Eric today. I asked.
Did you double check to see if they didn't do the wrong account again?
Yeah, I did. It doesn't exist.
Did you see what I tweeted from our account earlier this week? Replied to,
It was about one of the Mile High questions.
No, I don't see it here. But did you guys see what I tweeted to Mace the other day?
No.
Dude,
oh wait, maybe.
So right after Fangio got fired, right after Fangio got fired, someone tweeted to Mace saying, "Do you have a gut feeling on Fangio, Mace?" Like before it happened. So like literally the next morning, I go, "I don't know what it is, but for some odd reason, I have a feeling he may be fired. Feel it in the gut." Literally like moments after he got fired. I replied to that guy who replied to him.
Everyone
stop. Classic Cal.
All right, cool. We good to go?
Yep. Yeah, starter up. Actually, you know.
Yeah, no, we're going on my end. We're recording on my end. Evan, why don't you do the intro?
Hold on.
49.
Hold on. Okay.
Sneeze.
Episode 49.
Yes.
49.
Hey guys, welcome back to Just Us Guys Podcast, episode 49, and today we have a banger for you.
Bunch of football.
Bunch of football.
Ton of football.
College football.
It's
NFL
super
football,
duper wild card weekend.
Talking a bunch of playoffs as you see everybody but Cade is festive. Shame on Cade. Shame on him wherever he is. But
It's a classic
all
Philly
four,
fan.
all
Never
four of
happened.
all four of our teams
I'm ecstatic.
made the playoffs, and we're all very happy. You know, we made the playoffs on a
Listen,
game-winning kick.
I celebrated
Yeah,
last
we
week,
did.
Cal. You know, what I mean, you guys are still in that celebration mode of like the luckiest entry to the playoffs of all time. Where I celebrated last week.
And
I didn't even.
I was going to say, we played the Lions with our third string players, so.
Calculated.
Yeah, it was super fun to watch.
Dude,
you guys
guys,
see that Tomlin said that he fell asleep at halftime
okay,
because they were
listen,
up
can we make
15
it, can we
or
just,
up 15?
can we comment on that real quick? You
I'd
guys
love to.
made the riskiest bet of all time, though, betting Green Bay -3, though. Like, let's be honest. Like, let's not, like, beat around the bush. You
No,
guys
to be
made
fair,
the
I really
riskiest
expected
bet.
them to, like, score at least 21 points in the first half and then coast on that. I didn't expect 5 trick plays out of the fucking Lions for touchdowns.
At the
Just
time,
risky. Like, you knew they
at
weren't
the
going to play the
time,
whole
too,
game.
when you guys made the bets and stuff, at the time they were talking like Goff wasn't gonna play. It was gonna be a
Yeah,
backup.
He was
it
out.
That
gonna
is
be
true.
Boyle.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I have full faith in Love. If he's playing and Aaron wasn't playing at all, Love in the Packers against whoever the backup is for the Lions and the Lions. So that's
Yes.
where I was thinking.
Hey,
Facts.
but the thing is though, and this is a very important stat. In a single season, Matt LaFleur loses 4 every year. He just got his 4th loss in the regular season, which means he doesn't have to lose any more this year. So he's good.
That is
Yeah.
that is one of those betting nuggets now we know about.
Yeah, no, he's 13-3 in the regular season over the last 3 years. Is now 13-4 this year. His 4th loss always came in the playoffs. Doesn't have to worry about it now.
Right.
So we're good. Yeah, he has 12 total losses in his entire career. It's actually wild.
So, college football. Did you guys watch that
No.
game last night?
No.
We did watch that, but we're not there yet.
Oh, we got to do Cal's Corner. Oh, yes.
We do need to do Cal's Corner. See, I'm not the one forgetting it this time. I remember.
This one is actually a good question. He actually came to me and asked me if it would be a legitimate question to ask on the podcast. So, it has my stamp of approval
What
as
do you mean
well.
by actually a good question?
Some of them I think are a little, like,
I have had
Dumb.
bangers. Absolute bangers. Fire questions.
Cal.
Go ahead.
Where do you get these questions from?
Apple caps.
TikTok.
No, actually, no. No. Some TikToks.
Yes.
Some Google searches. Some Ask the Internet, the
Ask the Internet
game,
is a
the
good
board
one.
game, and some off the top of my head. This one was partially off of Twitter and off the top of my head. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So, question of this week. I want to word it right. Can blind people see their dreams?
This one's actually kind of deep.
Yes.
You have to see something.
But what are they seeing though? Because they don't
Okay,
know
so-
what stuff looks
Okay,
like.
they don't know what stuff looks like, but people can describe things to them, and then they can use that to
Right.
paint pictures in their head because it's still the human brain.
The brain is extremely powerful.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you could describe like I was talking to a kid. You can describe like a cruise ship, but they really don't know what that looks like.
No, and that's just it. But that means that is it painted to reality in their brain? No, but it is still like it might be a sailboat in their brain, but it's still there. And a sailboat might be a rowboat or a canoe or something. Like it's just
Or it
how
might not
they
be a
painted
boat
it.
at all.
It might be the Titanic if you describe the
It might
correct,
not be a
like-
boat at all. It might be just like a block. Like, you know,
I think that there's something there. I mean, we can always ask a blind person. If there's a blind person that
Yeah.
listens to this podcast, please
But
let us know. Tweet
That's
us
the
or
thing,
go
though.
drop a
Is
comment.
that what are they seeing? Because you don't know. We can know exactly what we're seeing because we know what stuff looks like. But they don't.
But again, I think it's because of touch and like. I think with enough, you have six senses. I think you could
Like
paint
I know
a
that
picture.
they could like see this because they could feel everything about it. But something big.
So this is how I look at it. This is
Imagine
what-
trying to describe colors to them.
You can't. So
can't.
that's the first thing.
Yeah,
Is you
there's-
cannot describe a color. So this is what I think would happen. I
Okay.
think when it comes like if I said describe a boat to me, they'd be a blind person would be able to describe a boat. So in my mind, they'd be able to dream about a boat. Now, what they would not be able to dream about is understanding of size and like texture and like details of said boat. That's what I would say. Because like we have because we've seen so many things. I have vivid dreams of things I've seen in my life, right? Like things in my
Yeah,
past.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, where they don't have that. So like if you said boat, their brain's just gonna think boat, but it's not actually gonna like show them like a boat from their past. Like because that's how our dreams work. Is like usually it can.
It is just recall.
It's right. So like that's how I look at it. I think they
And
do.
also, it's
They
going
would be able to because they can daydream. They can sit there and daydream and have a thought of a scenario or something. Like they can do that
gonna
even though
be
they can't
completely
see.
different too, in my eyes, if from someone that lived their life and became blind. Or
No, it's gotta
born
be-
fully blind.
Yeah, if you're pitch
Because
black
if
blind,
you
no
lived
way.
your life with sight and then became blind, then yes, you're going to be able to.
Yeah, you're
memorize-
fine.
You're going to memorize everything that you saw. Yeah, you could lose some of the stuff, obviously, but you're still like your mind is active. But a pretty interesting question.
It's very interesting, but I say yes. I think they can dream in images that, yes, obviously they haven't seen.
Images
but
that
through
that
senses and descriptions, they can
make sense to them.
they can
It's
connect
images that make
dots.
sense to them. Yeah, no, but hey, it was I was like, Kate, I was like, I don't know if this is a good one or not. And Cade liked it, so
I thought it was
yeah,
good.
we're gonna run with it.
It made you think a little bit.
I love how when I said blind, you immediately went like Ty was immediately like, oh, something's coming. Like, what's he gonna say?
Oh, I was trying to follow it.
Yeah, but
Okay, so I wanted to Google this because I feel like I've seen videos of kids describing things to blind people.
Mhm.
And apparently, yes, they can dream, but they can't dream visually.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. They can't see it. Makes perfect sense.
Which is just crazy to me. Like
Yes.
imagine dreaming but not being able to see in your dreams. Because typically, like I dream in first person.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean,
You
there's
know
definitely
what's a
couple
really
dreams
weird
I wake
one
up
is the
from
whole
that I
dying
remember
in your
everything
dream.
the dream, but I don't remember seeing stuff in the dream.
Yeah,
There's
there's been a
definitely
couple
times
times I
where-
remember faces, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I will say this. I definitely have dream about other people in my life for sure.
Yeah.
But what I will say was always weird to me is that I don't ever die in dreams. Like people always talk about that all the time.
I've died and I've free falled and all that shit.
I
hate
never
it.
have done that. Like it's weird. Like I just like
When
my
I die,
dreams.
I wake up though. Like it's you don't just lay there dead.
Well, no, because
I mean, they said that
Yeah.
those people said that if you die in your dreams, you're dead in real life.
Yeah, I can tell you. I can promise you that's not real.
But did you?
I've
actually
died
die?
in my dreams. Like I've died in my dreams for sure.
So they're saying that they visually can't dream.
Or I've been this close. Yeah, it's staying straight up. It says people who are born blind have no understanding of how to see in their waking lives, so they cannot see in their dreams.
right, they can, but they can
But those blind
imagine
people
things.
that lose their sight later in life can dream visually.
But like blind people could still imagine things. They just can't see it.
Yeah, it just says right here they're less likely to dream in pictures,
Right.
like in images.
Right.
So again, but again, they have other senses. So I'm sure, like, I honestly cannot recall if I actually hear things in my dreams. I want to say yes.
Oh yeah.
Because that seems like part of it.
There's definitely conversations in my dreams for sure.
But they just dream in their other senses instead of sight.
I
like
got to
touch,
imagine
taste, smell
that a blind person's imagination is just tenfold better than all of ours.
Oh, I'm sure it has to be wild because all you do is you live by smell and touch, basically, and taste.
So everything that's going on around you, you're trying to imagine what's actually happening.
Yeah. Okay, this is an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even Google like that question. I didn't want to like have like an answer like that until like we actually.
No, I didn't want to Google it. I just wanted to try and find that one thing where kids described things to blind people because one, it's a really funny video watching like 5 and 6 year olds describe real world things to people that have literally never seen.
Yeah.
But also, this just popped up. They don't dream because they can't see in their waking lives. They can't dream visually. But again, I feel like if someone describes something vividly enough to you, you'd be able to, if you focus on it when you go to bed, you'd be able to dream that. I mean, I guess they have no reference. I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Interesting. Interesting.
It really is, though. All right. Anyone have anything else to add on blind people?
Nope.
No. I feel bad. I could not go blind. It would be the worst.
So you'd rather be deaf than blind? I think we touched on this already.
Yeah, 100%. There's no way around that.
Yeah.
I can see it going either way.
Wouldn't have to hear Joe Buck's voice anymore.
Watching games in silence would be nice. Although then I wouldn't be able to hear Aaron say, I own you. I still own you.
You can read his lips.
Could read his lips. All right, let's touch on college football. The national championship happened last night. To no one's surprise, it was Georgia and Alabama because SEC bias. But also, to be fair, they respectively kicked the shit out of their opponents in the semis. Georgia ended up winning for what was the most part, a pretty boring game until like the last 25 minutes of the game. Georgia won. Basically, they were up, but they won on that pick six. That sealed the deal. What was it? 33-18, I believe. Biggest storylines to come out of it are one, Nick Saban showing why he's an all-time coach for his players. That post-game press conference where it was awesome, where they were about to stand up, and then he grabs them both and says, "I want everyone to understand, like, this is not their fault. Like, look at what they did all season. Like, they're good players. They'll be back."
Yeah.
And then also the Georgia quarterback, one being absolutely shit hammered still on
hilarious
Running America. That is one of the funniest interviews I've ever seen.
Best thing ever.
Just absolutely shit hammered. And also him actually winning it because originally he walked on to Georgia, then went to JUCO, then came back on a full scholarship to Georgia and led them to a national title.
And on top of the absolute sportsmanship between both coaches with being Kirby being a complete descendant of Saban, and how their post-game, conversation was the very first thing Saban
smiles, hugs, the whole thing.
Well, the very first Saban thing was congratulations, you kicked our ass in the fourth quarter. I'm proud of you.
Not wrong.
And then Kirby didn't even say anything. He just goes, "How was the wide receiver? How is Jameson doing?" Which we now know he tore his ACL, but literally Saban goes, "I think he tore his ACL." So like there was like literally hugs and straight, just raw, emotion between two guys that spent a lot of their time together in their lives, in their careers.
Well, and again, isn't this Georgia's first national title since 41 years?
1980. Yep.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So, because technically this is the 2021 title, so 41 years.
Yep.
I mean, it's huge for Georgia. It's awesome. Kirby obviously beating his,
his alma mater too.
His old coach, old friend in the national title after Alabama beat the shit out of him in the SEC title game.
He's like the fifth coach to win a national title for his alma mater as well, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Did not know that he was alma mater at Georgia, by the way, until last night.
Did not either. Also, did Kiz's and JT's bet come out yet?
They did not make a bet last night.
They did not make a bet.
See, Kiz responded last night, and after JT said, "I'm glad I didn't make a bet," and Kiz said, "Don't make me tweet out the text messages."
Yeah, and then JT responded with, I think it's the best thing for both of us not to expose each other's text messages. Because they probably said some wild things, back and forth, that probably not go on social media, especially with some of the scrutiny that JT's had over the past year and a half.
Speaking to Kisner of all people, yeah, that's probably If I know Kiz, he portrays himself and carries himself in literally all walks of life. Yeah, probably not the best thing.
He probably got fucking hammered last night.
Oh, I am sure Kevin Kisner was annihilated.
Hammered. I mean, he was probably blacked out. He was probably blacked out during the game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I just used my pen again. Shut up, Cade.
Yeah, Ty aged 20 years by using an electric
stylus.
Yeah.
Ooh, Scottie Pippen went off tonight.
Scottie Pippen even.
Yeah, his son.
His son played for Arizona? Is that who he plays for?
Kentucky or Vanderbilt, one of those two.
Vanderbilt. He plays for Vanderbilt.
He had 32.
All right, that was college football.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to Georgia. It's a huge win. Is it the year of the G? We're going to find out. That's the big question.
Cal,
it's crazy.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say this. Cal had a really good point last night because we are a anti-college football playoff podcast, I would say collectively, that we think the product is shitty.
It just needs expanded. They also shot that down today. This morning they had a meeting on it to expand it, and they shut it down.
Of course they did. I will say this, that Cal had a good point last night, that this was the seventh champion that we've crowned for the college football playoff.
Seventh different champion.
No, it's not the seventh different champion.
Oh, whatever,
It's the seventh championship of the college football playoff era. We've had 5 different winners, which is
Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State,
LSU,
and LSU, FSU, didn't they? Didn't win?
FSU was the year before.
No, Ohio State won that year.
Yep, FSU was the year before, but they didn't win the college football playoff. Yeah. Ohio State won the first one.
Back when Evan was a fan.
Yeah.
No,
but I would like the only people who have won more than one is Alabama's won 3 of them, and Clemson's won 2.
Yeah. Which, if you think about it, they're pretty much the same. At least same 2 or 3 teams are in the top 4 every year. But the fact is, we've had 5 different champions in this format is something to be said. Where it's not just there's a little bit of parity involved.
I don't think the product of the championship is the problem as much as the product of the top 4.
Okay, for me, and that's it. It's the politics of the top 4. Like right. you cannot tell me, regardless, like the whole reason the seeding worked out how it did. The only reason is so Georgia and Alabama didn't play in the semifinals.
Absolutely.
That is the only reason it worked out that way. You can't tell me that Alabama beats Georgia and then jumps Michigan, who hadn't lost yet and won the Big Ten.
Right.
Like Michigan should have been the number 1 team, Georgia number 2, and Alabama number 2. Georgia.
But the thing is though, even if you put like the thing that I think is the reason why it's fucked up is, and like I agree with you, Ty, is Georgia and Bama should have played in the semis no matter how they made the. And the thing for me,
absolutely should have.
And the thing for me, which I don't understand, maybe I'm crazy, but personally, okay, if I was a player, right, and like Georgia was the best team in college football all year long, like they won 13 games by 15 points. Like,
their defense didn't give up more than 12 points for like 8 straight weeks.
Yeah, like they were the best team in college football.
Even in the national championship, they only gave up 18.
Right.
Yeah.
They gave up 1 touchdown.
The high-powered offense.
They gave up 1 touchdown. But if I was a player, right, if I was Georgia and in the SEC championship I got beat, right? And then you're looking at those seedings, why the fuck do I want to go play Michigan next? I want to run it back. Like we're better than them. I want to run it back. Who the fuck wants to go? Like you can't tell me Georgia sat there and was like, okay, like, all right, guys, we got to go game plan for Michigan now. No, they want to go right back to it. They would love to play Alabama the very next week on the same field and run it back and do it again. Like, that's just me, though. Like, that's how I feel as, like, as, like, someone who would, like, wouldn't you guys? Like, why the hell, if you know that you're gonna play them, why play them in the national championship? Why not just run it back and be like, all right, guys, like, we just did this, let's do it again. Run it back.
No, and I totally get that. It's just, I don't like the politics that are involved in it. Like the 1 year Penn State should have made it. Arguably, maybe 2 years. They get boned because they had one loss like way early in the season, and it's like, oh well, Ohio State's had better strength of schedule wins for the last 3 weeks, so they're gonna make it in. Like it's stupid. It's not fair.
Yeah, I just like that's probably the only thing I can honestly say overall than football lacks. Football lacks that like series like feel to a playoff format, which obviously you can't do that, and I'm not saying you can. But I'm saying that's probably
like a basketball and hockey series can't happen in the NFL. Like
right,
it has
of
to
course.
be a one and done thing.
Right.
But I mean that's like personally that's why I like the NFL seeding. It's these 7 best teams from each conference now.
Yeah. But I just how
When you look
dope
at the NBA,
how dope would it be if it was like double elimination football playoffs or some shit like that? And if you lose to someone,
They have to do something. It's fucking boring, dude. Like I didn't watch a single other bowl game this year. I used to watch the BCS most of the bowl games because they each had like their own little story and they meant something to win.
yeah,
The
well, with
bowl
all the
games
players who are just
fucking
dropping out of
pointless
it
now.
and stuff.
They mean nothing.
Yeah.
The bowl
Well-
games mean nothing except 3 games.
Well, also the fact that it's also because of like the players are dropping out for the draft and transfer portal.
There's no who gives a shit.
Right. If
Like,
you're not playing for a
why do
championship,
I want to go play in the Mayo Bowl when realistically the worst case scenario I tear my ACL and I never potentially play in the NFL,
Right.
or best case scenario I get to dump Mayo on my coach.
Right.
What is the incentive for them to play in these bowls that are
See,
completely
that's why people are petitioning for less bowl games.
I think I
Less
like I know
bowl
Big
games
Cat,
make 'em
like,
more meaningful.
Someone said that and Big Cat tweeted like at him and said, "This man's wrong." Is he though?
Like
There's
I
like
would
41 bowl games or some shit like that. There's like 40, like roughly 40 bowl games.
right.
3 of them matter.
I would extend that a little bit.
The Rose Bowl
Bowl definitely
I'll say
matters.
8. I'll say 8 bowl games.
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, but what
I
I'm
agree.
saying is if you only had say 15 bowl games, then they would be more valuable to play in. Like they're more.
Well, it's the fact
there's
that
more
like they're
incentive
played
to
on
play.
random days. They're not weekend oriented, like except the big games. Like I did watch the part of the Rose Bowl. That
Yeah.
game was insane.
Yeah, the New Year's Six games are valuable. The 3 and then the 2 final games on New Year's Day, and then those are New Year's Eve.
Those are New Year's 6 games.
Yeah, those are
Because technically the 6, it encompasses.
Yeah, they're part of the 6. Yeah, but
So we'll say 7. We'll say 7 bowl games actually are relevant.
yeah.
Like it's just,
Dude, I've said it. Hey, I've said it, and I'll say it again. College football is by far the worst product in all of sports. The only reason why it's good is because of alumni and fans. If it didn't have the amount of fan pull that college sports brings to every single week,
the Colts. They're Colts. I mean,
yeah,
let's be real.
like
they're Colts.
yeah, if they didn't have that, college football would be a fucking failing business. Failing.
I'm just really trying to grasp, like, okay, I understand, like, getting the random schools, some bowl games and, like, making them feel special. But again, the BCS did that better than the FCS does.
Right.
So, for me, how I'm looking at this is, why is 7-6 fucking Arkansas in a bowl at all?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, you lost 6 games, but then we scrutinize one-loss teams so much harder to the point where, oh, yeah, hey, we're going to give you this one nice bowl on, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and you're going to be satisfied with that while this other team that has 6 losses is also playing in a bowl, but it doesn't have Chick-fil-A tied to it. It has, Cheez-It.
Jack in the Box.
Like, there's such a disconnect there between who gives a shit.
Yep.
Like, genuinely, like, I personally don't get it. Like, make them meaningful or have less. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Like, everyone says, like, oh, well, football is the best product because there's only 17 games compared to 82 or 160 or whatever. While I can see that point to an extent, 17 games, each game weighs more. Like, all these bowl games, they're just dilute the product other than the 3 that mean something.
There's a reason why players are opting out and playing those bowl games as compared to opting out and playing in the playoffs.
And again, maybe it was just a different time, but I'm telling you, dude, like when we were kids watching bowl games and stuff, like I don't ever remember players opting out or ever hearing about it for any of the bowl games.
They didn't do that. No, they didn't do that.
Like maybe it's a different time now, and I understand that like, you have to take care of your future.
Mm-hmm.
but like make them valuable so someone wants to play in it and show off. Like, it can't just be like the Sugar Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta
Rose
Bowl,
Bowl.
or PlayStation,
Rose
whatever
Bowl.
it is now, Chick-fil-A Bowl, like,
And the
then
Sugar
the three big ones. It can't just be that if you're gonna do it and have 40.
Yep.
Can't.
40's a lot. Well, I mean,
And
let's like
that is a rough that's a guess just because I saw like for like 3 weeks there's a bowl game on every day.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Georgia, huge win. Great job getting your first win in 41 years in a natty, and yeah,
There was 44, Ty.
close.
Yeah.
It's
All
just
right,
too many.
let's move
I mean,
on.
It really is just too many.
Yep, I agree though. Let's move on though.
All right, let's move on. So let's hop into a little Week 18 recap just really quick. We're gonna touch on Black Monday. We're gonna touch on who won, all of that. But real quick, let's just do a Week 18 recap. First and foremost, Steelers beat the Ravens, and Steelers get into the playoffs on one of the wildest games I've ever seen in the history of football, which was the Chargers and Raiders on Sunday night. We'll just start with that game because that
Let's
changed
hear it.
everything.
Everything that happened, yes, it was great for viewership and football fandom and everything going on with it.
Huge.
But it's just another point to me is why there should not be ties in football. We're not playing soccer. There's barely ties. I mean, there's ties in hockey, but they do stuff to make sure
it's technically an overtime loss column.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
There's never a tie.
we're not playing soccer here. This is American football. We're not playing, the other football. There shouldn't be ties. There shouldn't be. There shouldn't be having teams tying a football game to get into the playoffs. There shouldn't even be that. It should be a winner or a loser. And same with us. We shouldn't have tied with the Lions. It shouldn't even. And then if we lost that game, then we're out. Then we were not even in the conversation for the playoffs. We shouldn't have that tie involved in it. It just causes way too much issues. And like I was talking to Kate, I'm like, if the Chargers and Raiders would have went at the beginning of the game and talked to each other and said, "Hey, we're gonna kneel this down and we're gonna tie it out," is that considered cheating?
Yes.
It almost is.
I don't think it is.
I think it is.
It's
I think it's
No, because
I
if the
think
Steelers
it's
were in that,
collusion.
no, because if
It's
the
collusion.
Steelers,
It's on
Evan,
the
but you have to look at it from another
Collusion
foot. Because if the
potentially.
Steelers were in that
It's collusion.
situation, you would be praying for a tie at points.
Yeah, but I don't want
collusion.
Mike Tomlin going over to Jim Harbaugh before the game and say, "Hey, shake hands, let's knee this out." I don't want that.
I think
that's not
kneeing
good for
out
any
from the
team.
first
thing that's
quarter would
crazy
be.
about that game though.
I
Is
think
they were going to, but dumbass calls the timeout.
Now,
They
at
run
the-
for 10 extra. Like they were gonna
Listen.
try and kick it regardless. He was gonna
That's-
try it with Carlson at 57 yards instead of 47.
and
And a
that's
60-yard
where-
field goal is so less likely of going in, even though
Well,
Carlson
I
does
will-
have an absolute
Cal,
cannon of a leg.
I
that's
agree
where- and
that
that's
they would
where
have
in
did
that
it from the first
situation-
quarter. That would be awful. But I'm saying
what
that
I'm
if they got to overtime
Yes.
and they're like, "Hey man, like we can both make it. Let's not fuck each other and let's not cuck each other." That's not collusion. That
No,
it sucks
but
to
if you
suck.
have
It
a
is what it is.
conversation about it, if you have a conversation about it, is collusion.
Which-
But right
yeah,
there at the
which
end,
they
if
did.
the Raiders,
It's
if the
collusion,
Raiders would have,
regardless.
kneed it down right there,
If you have a
and there was
conversation.
timeout, if
They
there was,
did, but
if
they
there
didn't
was-
have a
if they were just
conversation
need
about
it, No, I'm saying if they, you
Just-
said,
we're saying if they did.
you just said let's not fuck each other, so that's
No,
Yeah, that's collusion.
dude, they were literally okay. They
That's what I'm
literally
saying.
were
Let me
going
let
to
me
not.
finish.
They literally, we watched the video where Austin
I know,
Eckler walked
that's
up to
what I'm
Max
saying.
Crosby and said, "Were you going to knee it?" That's not. They didn't like.
No, I'm 100%. I'm saying
Okay, that's
That-
not
that's
collusion.
not collusion.
No, I'm saying if they would have done that, if the Raiders would have kneed down the football, because there is variables in a missed kick, a blocked field goal, returned. Like, there's variables. If they would have kneed that ball down before they kicked that field goal, I would have been like, hey, that's how the cookie crumbles. It sucks. They tied.
Right.
There was no definitive like collusion involved. They got to overtime. There can't be. It's a 29 point game. By far too. Also, if they would have tied at 29-29 and we would have lost, we wouldn't have gotten to the playoffs because the score 29-29. I'd have been even more angry because it's 29. When do you ever see 29 points scored?
That is.
It would have been for sure been a scoregami.
So yeah, 100%. Yeah.
A scoregami happened in Cowboys this week, I think.
So
56-21 or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think it's a little bit
that's
wrong,
where
but yeah.
like I would not be upset at all
51-26.
if the Raiders right there at the end, if Staley didn't call that timeout and they would have needed the ball right there because of the variables that could have happened, that the Raiders could have lost that game, I would not have been upset.
Okay, let's talk about Staley really quick. This is just a couple things from this game that I've heard all week that I think we need to, as a group, have a chat about. So I watched half of that game. Like, I was watching it on and off here and there, but on his own 18, he goes for it on 4th down, doesn't get it, turns the ball right over. They go down 10. They were only down 3 at the time. So that's one mistake, massive mistake in the third quarter, because the analytics told him there's a high chance of getting it, even though you are on your own 18.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It's unheard of, really.
No, it's insane. But then also, yes, the timeout, because he said that he had the wrong defense in there. And then if you go back and watch when Josh Jacobs ran for that 10 yards, there were only 10 dudes on the field. They still didn't get the right package out there. There was 10 dudes instead of 11, and there were already 11 out there prior to the timeout, which makes it so much worse. Yeah. Because his reasoning for the timeout was to get the right package out there.
Listen, I'm a 100%. I'm 100% a conspiracy theorist person. I think that whole Sunday was scripted from start to finish.
I've heard this idea
from the I said this to a couple people already. I said it to Levi last night, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, it does make sense." You think about it, okay?
It's hard to pull all these strings, though.
Jacksonville Jaguars blew the Colts out. Okay, Carson Wentz literally was looking like he was playing Pee Wee football.
Yep.
Which we all know he can do that. And we also know that he can throw.
It's just the weird part was the Colts line got fucking bullied.
Horrible. But the way it lined up, the Jags blew out the Colts just perfectly in time for the Steelers to get to the end of the fourth quarter, and they tied to overtime. Now, all the viewers go from the Colts-Jaguars game over to the Steelers-Raiders game for this overtime. This puts one of those guys in chance to make the playoffs. Crazy stuff's happening. The Jags just upsetted the Colts. Okay, now the entire nation is watching the Ravens and Steelers game. They go back and forth. The Steelers kick a game-winning field goal with the greatest kicker in the NFL. We then went to the next game, which was the 49ers and Rams. Okay, that game also with the Saints and Falcons going on at the same time. Just so happens to be the Saints and Falcons game ended, puts the Saints winning. Now they're going into overtime. Okay.
After the Rams were up 17-0, the 49ers came back.
I turned the channel. I turned the channel. I went and watched the Bills Patriots game because it was better at the time. So then the Saints just beat the Falcons. Now they're going into overtime. This is another game. Now, if the 49ers win, they're in. If they lose, the Saints are in. Parity. So everyone goes from that game to watching this game now. Now we get to Sunday night, where a tie gets two teams in. If they don't, they get the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the biggest franchises in the NFL, into the with Big Ben on his last year, his farewell tour, just perfectly timed up, and the score ends up 29-29 and going into overtime. Like, are you kidding me? Like, and then gets down to a final second field goal.
But no. They both kick field goals in overtime.
Exactly. You can't tell me there wasn't someone in Staley's headset goes, call timeout.
Well, no, dude, did you get no, Cal? The only validation I will give you this insane person theory, because it would be so hard to pull off all of these strings.
It's not true. It's simply just not true.
No, I know it's not. But the only validity is all of the major books came out and said
it's going to be the largest loss ever.
This would have been like fucking Black Monday for us, because so many people put money on a tie because of the odds already being just a tie regardless.
With that, and on top of what Draymond did, it was during the same day.
Yeah, it was just one of those things where all the major books came out and said we understand there was a public thing for the draw because it was a fun storyline, but we're very happy that he called that timeout.
Yeah. But no, I mean, obviously, like I said, I love conspiracy theories, and
I hear you.
The way it lined up, it just was scripted perfectly.
But that right there is why football is football, and that's why the NFL is the biggest business in the world.
And that's why there will be upsets this weekend, and people are going to go crazy.
Big time. Dude, I don't understand how the Niners are dogs to Dallas. I think, Dallas is a fraud, but...
Love it.
I really do, man.
Love it.
I have them as one of my bets.
Niners or Cowgirls?
Niners.
I just think they're a better team. and they play playoff football way better
Hey,
than Dallas.
I won't lie. Hey, I'm going to put a little bit of a pat on my back. I did say the 49ers were going to be pretty good this year. I did say that.
No, you did, and they sucked for a while, but they got their shit together pretty quickly because Debo Samuel.
They're the hottest
is
team
a
in the NFL
different
right now.
Breed of human.
They are the
Those are
hottest team. They are the hottest team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. So there's we touched on it a little bit. Cal kind of did the run through there just because of ratings, which good run through. Niners beat the Rams to get in, even though the Saints won. Doesn't matter. Niners just had to win outright. Cardinals lost, which means since the Rams lost, they fall to the 4 seed. So that sets the seeding for that.
The Rams were the 3, aren't they?
What's up?
The Rams fell all the way to the 4 seed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Bucs
the
are
Cowboys
2 seed.
jumped
That's
them.
why you guys are playing the Bucks. Yeah.
No, I didn't know the Cowboys jumped them though. I knew the
Yep.
Bucks were the 2.
Yeah, Rams and Cardinals are playing each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the game of the week in my opinion.
On Monday
It's
night,
going to be a
first
really
ever-
good game.
First
Yep.
ever Monday night playoff game.
It's going to be a very good
For
game.
super duper weekend, wild card weekend.
Super wild card weekend. Raiders got in. They'll be playing
Hey,
Bengals.
shout out Derek Carr. He deserves it. Even though I think Justin Herbert deserves to be in the playoffs. Not saying more than Derek Carr, but just she deserves to be in the playoffs.
Dog,
But
in the fourth quarter and overtime, 6 fourth down conversions, went 6 for 6 for 106 yards.
I'm
and a
telling
touchdown.
you guys right now that Justin Herbert is better than every quarterback in the league, other than the one that's up north and the one that's in the Midwest.
Like,
Period. That's just my opinion. I watch him
insane.
play. Huh?
like Justin Herbert's just insane. The
I-
fact
I
that he was
watch
getting
him
those
play
in
every-
stride, like
I watch him play. Every time I watch him play, I'm like, once the dude learns to cut down. I mean, he had 15 picks this year, which I'm gonna say is on the higher side. But I'm
Derek
gonna
Carr
say
had
it's on the
14.
higher side. That's just me. That's almost one a game. That's just a little too much for me.
yeah, I mean Derek Carr had 14.
Josh
Matt
Allen had
Stafford,
15.
Matt Stafford has 7 in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, Josh Allen had 15 this year. But I'm just saying, if he can get that down to 10, which is very, very doable.
If you can throw 35 and 10, that's elite level.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm saying. And it's only his second year. Listen, this is what I'm comparing to. Because I said this earlier this year that we all did that we thought he was going to be amazing, but he's now done this.
He was my pick for the Chargers to make a deep run, so
Yeah.
that loss really hurt.
Yeah. So he obviously we all love Justin Herbert, but what I will say about Justin Herbert is that Josh Allen this year, just comparison to a younger, good quarterback. Josh Allen in his 4th season, right? Where now, we're starting to see what he can do year in, year out. Had 35 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, threw for 40,000 and change. I don't know what 4,000, whatever. It's 4,500 yards and completed 63%. 63% of passes. Herbert in his 2nd season, completed 67% of those passes for over 5,000 yards for 35 touchdowns and 15 picks. Just to talk about the trajectory of someone. You're just talking about
Justin Herbert had his first 5,000. So Justin Herbert's going to join Brady and Ben as 5,000-yard passers for sure.
He already had it.
He
Herbert
threw
had
for
it.
5,000 yards.
That's what I'm saying. And his 2nd season. This is only his 2nd season. And that's not even considering that he's in a new offense this year. Completely new offense, and he literally had one of the best years as a quarterback.
Ty, take a look
yeah.
at Herbert's completion percentage through 2020.
Both year 1 and 2?
No, just 2020
The 66?
points. Yeah, on my screen it says 66.6.
Yeah, I got 65.659, which is 66% in my book.
And what was he this year?
I'm talking
That's
about
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
Oh, so he was not. I thought he was 67. He was 66.
65.9.
But I'm just saying, the dude's in his first year of a new offense, new head coach, and he goes for over 5,000 yards, 35 touchdowns, and completes 66%. His ceiling is freaking ridiculous. Crazy. It's crazy how good Justin Herbert can be.
Threw for 256 first downs as well.
That's a lot.
If he cuts those interceptions down by 5, 38 and 10 is
No, that's with 5,000 yards. That's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and he didn't even make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, well, that was the worst Pro Bowl selections of all time. So, Lamar Jackson made a Pro Bowl. Lamar
Our
fucking
friend Lamar
Jackson
Pro Bowl.
made a Pro Bowl. He was
Over
yes
Oh,
over
really?
Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. Yes, over both of them. Mm-hmm.
It's criminal.
Who are they? I can't remember.
It's Pat
Lamar,
Mahomes,
Pat Mahomes, and
Lamar,
let
Pat
me guess,
Mahomes.
Mac Jones.
No,
no,
no.
That would have been funny though.
Burrow.
Burrow would deserve it.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
It might be Herbert. I might be wrong. I can't remember.
I think it might
But I
be.
know
No, I
Lamar
mean,
is the third.
if you're talking AFC, it's between these four. It's Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow. Or,
Yeah, Herbert got it. It was
Mahomes.
Herbert.
Okay, Herbert.
It was
okay.
Herbert,
And he
Mahomes,
deserves it,
and
obviously,
Jackson.
rightfully so.
Technically, Herbert was voted the starter,
That's who it was. Burrow should have. It wasn't Herbert. Burrow should have got it over Lamar. That's what
or Josh
Yeah.
Allen, or Josh
Burrow,
Allen.
Burrow definitely should have made it.
Yeah.
No,
There's a heavy campaign for Burrow for MVP right now.
Yeah, which just isn't it.
Yeah, but it's a
I
heavy
will
campaign.
say this though. I will say this: expectations versus reality. The Bengals were 130% over their expected win per total.
No, I mean, look, the Burrows are
Like, that's
the
an- but
Bengals
that's an
are,
MVP
the
candidate.
Bengals are here, man. As long as they're they invested heavy in their defense and it showed.
Yeah, I'm
And
saying
Joe Burrow has lived up to all of the hype.
I'm saying, like, in my opinion, like, I'm not saying Rodgers is an MVP because that's who I think should be MVP. But what I'm saying is that if you're a team who was projected to have like 4 wins and you have 10 wins and your quarterback had 4,600 yards, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks, and completed 70% of passes, you should 100% be an MVP candidate.
No, and no, by the way, his average yards per attempt was 9.
8.9. Yeah,
Yeah.
9 fucking yards per attempt.
He should definitely win comeback player of the year. And 2,
No, it shouldn't even be like people that are like, oh, Dak probably
No,
has it locked
dude,
up. Like,
Dak
what the
played
fuck did
bad.
you watch? Where did I miss that?
Dude, Dak literally stat padded this weekend against a practice squad Eagles team to break the Cowboys.
So did Tom
passing
Brady.
touchdown.
Don't worry. So did Tom Brady.
Yeah,
against the
it was
Panthers.
literally stat padding. Like the Eagles did not suit up a starter on defense, and he threw 5 touchdowns. Like, okay, sick dude. Like, you played a preseason game. Like, no one cares. Literally, not one person cares about it.
Yeah, but it was an overall just fantastic weekend of football. The season finale, they want to call it whatever it was.
I mean, there were definitely some meaningless games in
Crazy.
there, but
Yeah, oh, yeah.
like the actual games that meant something lived up to all of the hype and then some.
Yeah, it was. I going into the week, I never thought that we'd be playing this weekend because of the fact that Jacksonville had to beat the Colts. Like
I said it could happen. I said last week they've won
This is
6 times in a
crazy.
row. It could happen.
But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's one of those things where it's like a bittersweet moment because we have a really, really tough road to even sniff anywhere into the playoffs to go deep. So,
I mean, if you guys do win, which would be a miracle in itself, you then have to go play Tennessee with a healthy Derrick Henry.
yeah, which we already handled them once. But
We'll shut him down.
listen, like I said to the Texans the other day when Evan goes, Derrick Henry's going to run through us. I'm like, the backup, whatever, Foreman, he ran through us. He ran for 250 that game. We still won.
And that's not Derrick Henry.
No, but we still won because they're a one-sided football team. They're not, Tannehill's not going to beat. They're not going to beat you in the air. They're not going to beat you in the air. They're going to beat you on the ground.
But aren't the Steelers like one of the worst teams against the rush?
But pass rushing.
We are the worst
We are
team.
the best pass rushing team in the NFL.
That's such a
So-
weird combination.
Yep, because we have a great pass rush.
Because
Horrible.
because that means you have a good front 7, but then the front 7 can't stop a run, which is just
Yeah.
weird to think about.
We have one guy who can stop running. His name's Cam Hayward.
Which, yeah, to be fair, I mean, he's very, very fucking good at it.
Because the defensive player of the year is on the edge, and the majority of the runs are going up the middle. And
Yeah, I mean, he has to win it, right? Like, that's not up for debate anymore. Like, it's not Micah Parsons. I mean,
if
AD
he
is
if
still
he
AD.
doesn't, if he doesn't, they just don't want him to be great. They don't want him to be great. They
Well,
already
just
they
what-
already took the record away from him. They already took the record. They pulled the record away from him. So they don't want him to be great.
That's just one of those things where he has to win. He just tied the sack record. Should have had it in the first. Should have tied it in the first quarter.
Bullshit. By the way, Cade's found a stat today, which is absolutely just mind-boggling about the Steelers. The last time The last time the Pittsburgh Steelers took last in their division
Oh.
was 1980.
88.
88.
Sorry, 88. The next closest was what, 2002? Was the Patriots?
No,
was,
2000 Patriots.
2000 Patriots, then 2005 Packers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then 2011 Colts. Or no, 2007 Chiefs, and then 2011 Colts.
Just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Just mind-boggling. That's just a stat that's just absolutely crazy.
I mean, that just shows how bad the AFC North is. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an indictment of them.
I mean, that's
No,
not,
yeah.
you can't sit here and argue that like Cleveland took that low spot for literally 20 years of that. So it does
No,
kind
but
of
in the
help.
20
90s,
consecutive years.
Literally
in the
20
90s
years of that. So
in the 90s, Cleveland was good.
yeah,
90s
but
Cleveland, yeah, sure.
yeah, but what I'm saying is though, was like no matter what, 20 out of 40 was one team finishing in the basement because they were awful. Like
We
they were
were
just
also
awful.
really bad.
Who was bad in the 90s in the
Like the
AFC
Steelers-
North?
the
Would
Steelers-
have been the Ravens, right?
The Steelers to avoid being in the
No, the
basement since
Bengals had
2000.
Boomer, though. That was the
They're
80s.
okay. The Boomers were. I mean, the Bengals were okay. The Steelers were horrible from 2000 until we drafted Big Ben.
The Steelers
I
only
will
had
not
to win.
sit here and endure
Tommy
Tommy
Maddox.
Maddox and Cordell Stewart slander.
The
Stewart
Steelers
was-
still
I will
only
throw
had to
as
win.
much Tommy Maddox slander as I can at you, Ty.
No
Will
matter
not be
what,
here for
even
it.
at the Steelers' worst, they had to win 5 games to avoid being in the bottom basement from Cleveland for 20 years. No matter what. Like, they had to win 5 games. Because there was a point for 20 years where Cleveland didn't succeed 5 games more than, like, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. Every division has.
No matter what, though, it's still incredible that they never had, like, one of those bad seasons. Like, they didn't have that season. But
Yeah.
it's like, literally, yesterday, because I was watching, I never watch these shows because they just piss me off, but I did because of Black Monday. I was watching Get Up and First Take, and I do like Dan Orlovsky a lot.
That's just because he strokes the eagle shaft, dude.
Yeah, love him. So anyways, he said openly, he goes, the Steelers are one of the worst playoff teams I've ever seen. Like, they can't really run the football well. They can't throw the football well. They play terrible run defense, but boy, they have the defensive player of the year. That's literally what he said. And then he goes, but when you're a championship franchise, it's good enough. It's just good enough.
that's-
You're going to make
yeah.
the playoffs. It's good enough.
Again,
And, like,
that's why like all the Tomlin people can just shut the fuck up now. Like you
I
can't.
hate it.
you-
I hate
like
it.
no, I hate it too. Like again,
My
people
dad
don't
and my
understand
grandpa
how good coaches
can't
are
stand
until they're gone, especially someone like Tomlin.
Hate it.
Like when the Patriots lose Belichick inevitably, because time will eventually take him away from the sport. Like unless they somehow strike gold twice, they're gonna suck because it's still like
Literally, McDaniel's
Coaching.
McDaniel's just riding the coattails just to take.
no.
that job once
McDaniel's is
he's
dog
gone.
shit. Look at what he came.
I know, but that's what he's doing.
He's awful.
That's who's gonna get that job. He's just gonna stay there until Belichick leaves, and then he's just gonna.
And then they're gonna be
Oh,
mediocre.
Yeah. But yeah, no. But I'm looking forward to this weekend. I mean, it's gonna be we got literally 3 days of
Keep
football.
sleeping on us, baby.
Oh, big time, yeah.
We got 3 days of football.
You think who's sleeping on you, Evan?
Everyone.
They listen. If you open up as 12 and a half dogs, it's not that you're sleeping on you.
I was
Okay,
gonna say, even
it's just
even
that
Vegas
you're.
is on it.
It's just that
Keep sleeping on
sometimes.
us, bro.
It's just sometimes
Did you guys?
teams make
so they
it
did
that
that.
don't belong, and that's what happened. Like that's it,
I mean,
guys. Listen, we needed an absolute miracle Sunday for the Steelers to make the playoffs, and you got it. But
And the
let's.
tie almost happened anyway, which would have made it like pointless.
Yeah, but let's be honest. The Steelers have
you
not
guys
been
see-
as good as the Steelers could or have been recently.
I don't want to keep harping on it because there's 14 teams in the playoffs, but I got to read they did the power rankings for the playoff teams, and obviously the Steelers are 14th, rightfully so. But the analysis they put underneath the ranking is one of the best analysis I've ever read. It was so funny. So Pittsburgh Steelers. The rest of the AFC had a chance to put away the zombie Steelers, but they all failed. And so the godless monster ambles on, roaming the postseason countryside in search of the new host to feed upon. Will the Chiefs be able to send this walking dead to a final resting place? Logically, yes. Kansas City is more than equipped to handle that task. But many of us thought the same about the Titans, Browns, and Ravens. The Steelers are the creeping dead of the AFC playoff bracket, and an uninvited guest whom no one knows quite how to get rid of. And that's literally
The
perfect.
Chiefs know how to get rid of them. They blew them out by 40 literally like 2-3 weeks ago.
26, but yes.
Yeah. I mean,
But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, teams get blown out and then teams win. I mean, it is what I mean. Every game's different, but I think that's just a great analysis of just honestly Ben Roethlisberger. It's a great analysis of Ben Roethlisberger, not even just the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's literally the Walking Dead, and still somehow got to where they're in the playoffs. But like I said, I don't want to harp on the Steelers too much, just because they're probably going to be a first-round exits. We're not going to.
No, I don't either. But I will say this though. Literally, they also said in that segment yesterday that the week one, the Steelers had to play good defense against the Bills. They had to make the clutch plays at the end of the game, get a couple turnovers, and they beat the Bills. They've done that to every team that they've beaten. So like if there's a recipe for the Steelers to win on Sunday or whatever, is it Sunday night?
Sunday night.
Yeah, if the Steelers have a recipe to win, they cause a couple turnovers. It's a relatively low-scoring game, and Big Ben makes just enough plays to win. If that's what's going to happen.
That's the only way
they win. That's it.
I would agree with that.
Look, the Packers held the Chiefs to 13 points. You guys can do it.
If the Chiefs come out and score a touchdown on the first possession, and the Steelers punt, you might as well just pack up the truck and go home.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, you might as well go home.
Mark my words. If the Steelers are within one score going into the fourth quarter, they win the football game.
I would love it.
If we
by the way, hey,
round,
so Cal, I don't know what site you what you had the power rankings on, but I pulled up the Ringers power rankings for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They are 14th on here as well. I think just across board they're going to be
13. That's what I want to know.
The Eagles.
The Raiders.
They had
the Raiders.
ESPN had the Eagles as 13.
Yeah, the Raiders are 13. The Eagles are 12. Mm-hmm. Then the Cardinals are 11th, which I find very surprising. But the Cardinals have kind of been duds.
They're the first team in NFL history to win go 7-0 and have 6 losses.
It's just wild.
That's crazy.
They fell apart. That's crazy.
They fell apart.
The 49ers at 10 is surprising to me. I thought they'd be higher because they've been on a pretty.
I
think they've won like 4 or 5 straight.
Watch out
that's why
for the 49ers.
Again, if Jimmy G doesn't turn it over, they're going to win.
That's what I'm saying. It's all about the quarterback play.
They have really low-key great playmakers.
This is one I disagree.
Debo plays every position. What do you mean?
Debo is insanely good.
Playmaker.
And Kittle is still arguably the best.
Oh yeah,
and Elijah Mitchell only played like 9 games and rushed for over 1,000.
Yeah.
That's really impressive.
9th. The Bengals are 8th, which I disagree with. I think the Bengals should be higher. The Bengals, in my opinion, should be higher than the Bills.
I do. I believe that.
I would agree.
The only thing about it's such a tough one.
I understand the Bengals' history. I understand they're incredibly inconsistent. But dude, the Bengals potential.
The only reason why
that's a whole new regime.
No, the Bengals might have the best. The Bengals might have the best offense in the playoffs.
The only reason why Bills,
it's very close, man.
I think if they're not 1, they're top 3. Like they're definitely top.
No, they're definitely top 3. I still find it hard to argue with the Rams' weapons when healthy,
and the Packers. I mean, obviously,
Packers aren't bad. They have only one receiver in Alan Lazard, dude.
Yeah, they just have Aaron Rodgers.
Great running back.
What happened to Bob Tunyon this year, Ty?
He tore his ACL like in week 7.
Oh, okay, so he's actually not playing.
As I said, he was on your fantasy team.
I didn't know he was hurt.
The reason why the Bills are high as they
leading
are,
tight end receiver last year, out this year.
The reason why the Bills are where they are is because on paper they have the best defense. When they really don't have the best defense, but on paper they have the
points
best
per
defense.
game. They have the best defense.
Who?
But again, as Cade has harped on all year, that is a skewed stat.
Extremely skewed.
So that's why they're so high. That's why they're so high is because of their defense with Josh Allen. Like
the Bills have played against like 6 teams that have made the playoffs, and they're 2-4 against them, and they're also I think they're like point differentials like minus 50. They've been beat.
What was the score of the Bengals Packers game this year?
That's the one that went down to the very end because both kickers missed 4 in a row.
It was like in the 30s though, wasn't it?
No, it was 26 to like 25 or some bullshit.
Yeah,
like that. It was a stupid score.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was when Mason went on his slump, missed 4 in a row, and then McPherson, who hadn't also missed all season, missed like 4 in a row.
Hey, let's make some picks.
Let's do something here.
I want to hear you guys' picks for some of these games.
Okay.
Also, really quick, just to touch on this while you pull those up, Cade. I know that everyone thinks like Josh Allen did fall off a cliff this year, or at least regressed from his MVP candidacy last year.
Yeah.
He only threw 100 less yards, 1 less touchdown. He did throw 5 more interceptions, which is bad.
Yeah. His completion percentage plummeted.
His passer rating dropped 15 points, and his yards per attempt dropped 1.1 yard, which over the span of a season is significant.
His completion percentage also plummeted.
How many did he run in this year? Do you know?
He didn't have that many.
He didn't run in as many, but he still ran in.
He had like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
So he's gonna end up with
Ty,
43
what was his
15?
completion?
That's
What
a
was his
great year.
completion percentage drop? Because that's the biggest
I
concern.
don't have that on here. Give me a second.
Because that was always his issue. His issue is 100% throwing the ball accurately.
So his completion percentage this year was 63.
Mm-hmm.
And last year was 69. So
That
is a regression.
I would say that's a
60,
significant
that's a
drop.
huge regression.
So in my opinion, like this is
Aaron's been 70 back-to-back seasons.
Yeah, this is my opinion. I think that what we saw this year out of Josh Allen is who Josh Allen is more than last year. That's just my
Which
opinion.
to me is still a top.
It's still a top 10 quarterback.
No one's saying no.
top
I'm not
7
saying that.
quarterback
I'm not
for
saying
sure.
that. But I'm saying
We're saying that. Though. We are saying that.
But I'm saying he is a top. He is definitely a top 5 or 6 quarterback. But what I'm saying is that people were trying to start to move him up that list. If we remember we had these conversations, and I'm just
it also
saying,
helps that also Deshaun Watson's completely removed. So.
I agree, but what I am saying though is that we're not putting him in the same conversation as Rodgers, and we're not putting him in the same. I know Mahomes threw more picks this year than he has in his career, but if we're looking at the outlier seasons, I'm going to say that probably last year for Josh Allen was more of an outlier than like Pat Mahomes this year. Like I don't think Pat Mahomes is going to lead the NFL in interceptions again next year. I don't think that will happen.
He didn't lead the NFL.
He was damn close, wasn't he?
Stafford and Lawrence tied at 17.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So then, wow. Because Pat Mahomes had like 15 at one point, and he must have went on a stretch where he didn't throw one for a month.
He stopped throwing interceptions.
Mahomes had 13. After like 6 weeks, he had 11, and then just didn't throw.
Oh my God. Yeah, right. So that's my point.
It's like Rodgers, dude. So Rodgers in the last 12 weeks has 1 pick.
Yeah, right. But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, but what I'm saying is because I think Josh Allen is a franchise quarterback, and I would take him on my team in a million times over a million. But what I'm saying is that we were putting him, like, we were hearing people put him in that conversation of Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, and there's a significant gap between the two. That's all I'm saying.
Last leg of a 6-game parlay for the college basketball tonight was the number 1 team in the nation, Baylor, and they just got upsetted. That was my last leg I needed.
Yeah, they lost.
And the number 1
game.
team.
What was the spread, though?
I mean, they lost to Texas Tech, who was 19.
Yes.
What was the spread?
I mean, Cal, they did lose to a ranked team. It wasn't that bad of a loss.
I mean, to be fair, last season, if you put them in that, if you put Josh Allen, now just for last season in that little like bubble where he was up there with them because he was an MVP candidate, you can, but I mean, definitely not overall yet.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but he's trending towards being in the top 3 elite quarterbacks. So once Rodgers retires, that will be.
Yeah. That's
Herbert,
like
Herbert and Burrow are going to make this interesting. I'm not going to argue that.
He'll be a top 4.
2 years in.
Here's the future of the NFL: Josh Allen, Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes.
Aaron's you got to take Aaron out of that. He's 38.
Yeah, no, I did say Aaron. I said.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is 100%. That is 100% the future. 100%. Yeah.
Until further notice.
Yeah, until further notice. I completely agree.
Otherwise, those are the 4 dudes.
Yeah, those are the 4 dudes who are under 26 years old that are
I won't put Kyler in that group. He's right outside of it, though.
I think so too.
Who?
I think that Kyler Murray. I think you put him at 5 or 6.
I think Kyler Murray, like. I'm a big Kyler guy, man, but
I know you're a big Kyler guy, but we're talking about dudes that are 6'2".
No, Kyler's not in that conversation.
What about Huntley?
Kyler's not in that conversation.
Huntley?
Yeah, he's better than Lamar.
Huntley is going to be starting somewhere next year. I think we all need to be very aware of that.
And there's a chance it's the Steelers.
Like,
but his name has been mentioned. Somewhere. No, I don't want Huntley as a quarterback, but I'd rather draft one. Or sign one.
I can't put Kyler Murray in that conversation just because I think Kyler Murray has more limitations than those guys. But what I will say about Kyler Murray is that Kyler Murray can also reach a ceiling that not many quarterbacks can reach because
No,
of
he can
his
reach. He can reach a Russell Wilson ceiling, which is elite.
Yes, which is elite, right? Which, by the way, speaking of Russell Wilson, he really turned on at the end of the year. But before he got hurt, he had 12 touchdowns, 1 pick to start the season.
Dude, the dude's elite. He's a great quarterback. And he's gonna look great in one of these.
He's still a good quarterback.
But
he's gonna look great in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform.
But he just got dragged a little bit this year, like for obvious reasons, but because the Seahawks are bad.
They are. Yes. Also, to be fair, when he came back way too soon from that injury, he was missing a shitload of throws.
Yeah, but his last 3 games, he had 2 touchdowns, no picks, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. And he had while missing what? He missed like 4 games, right?
4 games, 25 and 6.
Yeah, 25 and 6 for 3,000 yards. Like, first off, right there, that's an above-average quarterback in the league.
Well, Derek Carr, for a point of reference,
that's nearing elite.
Had 23.
That's a 5-to-1 ratio. That's nearing.
He had 23 touchdowns.
Derek Carr for his entire season only had 23 touchdowns.
I thought he had more than that.
No, I thought he was in the 30s as well.
How many touchdowns does Josh Jacobs have?
He had at least 10.
Yeah, probably at least 10. Yeah, no, Derek Carr only has 23, and he threw 2 in the Chargers game. He came in with 21 touchdowns and 14 picks.
Listen.
That's
a disgusting number.
Which, by the way, I still put Russell Wilson in my top 5 quarterback list because of this. His last
healthy,
4,
dude.
Yeah, his last 4 full seasons, he had 3,900, 34 and 11, 3,500, 38, 35 and 7, 4,000, 31 and 5, and then last year he had 4,200, 40 and 13. It's good.
You know what's crazy? Even with the
really
extra
good.
game, no one even remotely sniffed Peyton Manning's 55 touchdowns.
No. With an extra game.
Dude, that was
with an extra games.
That's what I'm saying. It's insane.
I saw that tweet, Cade. What quarterback was it that I read to you? It was so funny. Which quarterback were they talking about?
About what?
It said something like someone needed like.
Andrew Luck.
No,
it was Drew Lock needs 79,000 yards in this game.
No, it was
Tom Brady.
The tweet was that Trevor Lawrence needs 900 and like some odd yards to break the rookie passing yards record. Something to look out for today.
Something to look out for today. That's what it said. It was so funny.
Speaking of Trevor Lawrence,
which by the way, Justin Herbert holds.
Hey, just speaking of Trevor Lawrence, I would just like to point out that I did win that bet.
You did win that bet, but he had a horrible season, like I said he was going to have.
He had a very bad season. Yeah.
Everyone's calling it. The argument was, the whole stemming of the argument is that the overhype of him calling him the
I
next
would agree.
Peyton Manning.
I remember the argument. I would agree.
That was the argument, and then it went into the interceptions thing. But
10 and 17,
he had a horrible year.
He's not. I'm telling you right now, he's not overhyped. You will see. I'm still sticking by that.
He was overhyped going into the season.
He was put in the worst situation of any rookie quarterback this year, by far.
I mean, Gardner Minshew was able to win down there.
Yeah, not with Urban Meyer, where the team was literally quitting on him week 3, Ty.
No, I mean, Urban is a joke.
Yeah, we're talking about a team that literally quit
week 3. Can we all
3.
admit 10 touchdowns, even as a rookie, starting all 17 games, is bad.
I agree.
It's horrible.
Not saying he had a good season, but I'm telling you right now, he's going to be good.
Had a couple decent like players to throw to and stuff. You had James Robinson.
Marcus Chenault is a stud, dude.
Well, I would relax. I would relax on like good.
No,
targets.
Marvin Jones Jr.
Oh yeah, Marvin Jones Jr. too.
And James Robinson.
It's decent.
James Robinson
it's decent at best, but like it's not.
I would say it's decent.
Okay, let me ask you this. Last year when Joe Burrow came in the league, he had T. Higgins. He had who's the dude from Pittsburgh that the dude that's from Pittsburgh?
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. Like he had like those are better options. There was somebody else.
Yeah.
There like there's better options. Like
I think
Kyler Murray.
AJ Green was still in the Bengals last year, wasn't he?
No, I mean yes, but he didn't play that much.
Yeah, but he played like 3 games.
Yeah, he got hurt. But like
just
like just another example. Like Kyler Murray still had Larry Fitzgerald. Like he still had Christian Kirk. Like those are
D-Hop was there.
D-Hop wasn't there his rookie year. D-Hop was there his second year.
But you're saying that you.
This is his third. Yeah, you're right.
Second year player T. Higgins and first year player Tyler Boyd over veteran.
Tyler Boyd was in the league. Has been in the league. He's like this is 4 seasons.
Boyd is like 4 or 5 years.
Okay, Tyler Boyd or Marvin Jones Jr.
I'm saying no. What I'm saying.
I have to look at them.
What I'm saying is that the plethora. I'm talking the plethora of weapons that Joe Burrow has had, as like a young quarterback, the plethora of weapons that Justin Herbert had the last 2 seasons, and like even like Kyler Murray, like we have to compare the situations.
No, but Burrow
and they are completely different.
They had equal targets. They had equal athletes to throw to.
Who did?
Burrow in Burrow's first year and Lawrence's first year.
I mean, that's just your opinion, not mine. And like we don't have.
I mean, they both had a top.
I would say it's close. I'm gonna give the edge to the Bengals, but I think it's close.
Yeah, it's close.
Okay, hey, I think we can all agree on this though.
Both 10 top 10 running back. They both had.
It's all right. Listen, we'll see. We'll watch Trevor Lawrence develop when he actually gets like a good coach and he actually is in a system that makes sense, not like literally quitting on him week 3. Yeah. And we'll see how he does.
He's the next Ryan Leaf.
That's
minus
probably
the drug
not
problems.
True. That's
okay, but realistically, we can all agree on this. Whether it's Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow, put them in the Titans' offense with healthy players, and they both throw for more than 14 touchdowns.
Yes, Tannehill had a really bad year.
Tannehill had a very bad year.
He is a fraud, and the number 1 team in the AFC.
However, I
don't think he's a fraud. This is a bad year.
His 3 primary weapons were injured the entire year.
They were in and out. I understand that, which is even more impressive as to why
Julio caught his first touchdown pass Sunday
this week.
Yes.
Listen, this is the difference though, and this is the argument that I have. A year ago, the Philadelphia Eagles put out a team that literally had 1 starting offensive line for more than half the season. They had 0 weapons on offense. They had 0 defense was terrible. The team was awful. And Carson Wentz had like 15 touchdowns and like 13 picks, and they literally shipped him off, okay, because they lost games. Tannehill had an equally as bad season in an equally situation on offense, and they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. So there's context to that. And I'm going to say that the Titans just overall had a better football team. That's why they won those games. But they're like the worst 1 seed the NFL has probably ever seen. Like, they're the worst 1 seed the NFL's ever seen.
That was the Packers 2 years ago. Worst 13-3 team ever. That's what I was told repeatedly.
The Titans are the worst 1 seed the NFL's ever seen.
They lost in the championship game to the 49ers. Thank you.
They are I'm telling you, like, the Titans are going to, like, unless Derrick Henry comes back, the Titans will get walloped in the first game they play.
So, I mean...
Like, if they got to go against a high-powered offense like the Cincinnati, they're going to get walloped.
They'd play either the Steelers or the...
There's 4 teams they could potentially play.
Yeah, the Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, and Raiders.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 teams.
Yeah.
Is it the Bengals?
Yeah.
Bengals are 4 seed.
Yep.
I thought they were the 3rd seed.
No, Bills are.
If they go up against a high-powered offense, they're going to get walloped. If Derrick Henry doesn't play. Like, if Derrick Henry comes back and Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry, I think the Titans will be in the AFC Championship game.
So, yeah, no, they will play the Bengals, Raiders, Patriots, or Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
If by some chance the Raiders get by the Bengals, I think Titans beat the Raiders. But
yes, I do.
Bengals or Patriots,
Steelers
man, I think.
Steelers and Raiders, I think. And I told Kate this. I'm like, I think if we had a chance, I think the best matchup in the 2 teams are the best matchup for us in the playoffs. If we got to them, are the Patriots and the Titans.
Yeah,
by far.
Yeah.
If somehow we got to the AFC Championship game, I pray that it's the Patriots. And if we win the first game against the Chiefs miraculously, I think we have a very good chance of beating the Titans.
Actually, I would really like the Steelers' chances of at least moving on to at least next weekend, not this current one, but the following, if there was anyone in the playoffs other than the Chiefs.
I would agree.
Yeah. Other than the Chiefs, if they would have landed and played anybody else, I would like their chances. But since it's the Chiefs who can just light up a scoreboard, and the Steelers cannot light up a scoreboard. That's the only problem.
They did against the Chargers.
But like how? That's 1 game. Like, I know every game's different, every situation's different.
I don't remember the last time we scored over 25 points.
They did against the Browns, but that was also because of like a bogus pick at the end.
And the Chargers.
Oh, you're right. We did that.
Yeah, but like if anyone but the Chiefs, I like the Steelers. It's the same thing with the Titans. Like if the Titans don't have to play the Chiefs until the AFC Championship game, I think that the Titans can make the Super Bowl. That's only if
I think
Derrick Henry plays, and is Derrick Henry though? In my opinion,
think the Titans get blown out by the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals.
Anybody with a high-powered offense, they are not a good matchup for.
Well, and dude, the thing that makes the Bengals for me specifically scary, like I understand the hype behind the receiving core and Joe Burrow. Like, that's been very highlighted.
Yep.
Joe Mixon is still a top 10 running back in the league.
Joe Mixon might be a
Joe
top.
Mixon.
Joe Mixon might be a top 5.
Yeah.
No, legitimately, like, he's a fucking stud.
Because in reality, we have to start moving people we put in the top 5 running back out. Zeke is not even a top 10 running back.
I've never even had him
Saquon
there.
is not a top 10 running back. Like, we have to start.
Right now.
He's not.
That's
Like,
why I've been saying Aaron Jones is a top 10 running back. And
yes,
goes,
Aaron Jones is a top 10 running
and
back.
I'm like, how?
Like-
He does everything.
like Christian McCaffrey is not a top 5 running back in the NFL anymore because he
Not
hasn't
this
been
year.
playing the last 2 years.
Yeah.
He's not. So like we
That's
got
why
to
the
start
trade
moving different
market,
guys in.
I think it was Evan and I were talking about it, but the trade market for McCaffrey is going to be very real because if you can get a great return for him, all right, great. You're going to get 10 games out of him of arguably the highest level play, maybe 10.
Yeah.
But he will be the best player on the field for those 10.
Oh yeah, but like
So
we got to start. We we got to start thinking like, is Dalvin Cook a top 5 running back? He gets
Cook is
hurt.
the top, yeah, 100%.
He is, but he just gets hurt
He's
a lot.
hurt a lot, but when he's in, he is that.
Right.
He's hurt, but still gets 1,000. Like he's hurt and still gets 1,000.
Every year.
Dudes who are like creeping into that top 5. Austin Eckler
Eckler's an
scored the
animal.
most touchdowns in the NFL as a running back this year.
He
Like-
said, by the way, he called his shot. He said he wanted, like, he put out a tweet at the beginning of the season saying, draft me first, I'm not going to let you down. And then send me a picture of it, and I'll, like, send you some autograph swag.
He scored.
He did
He's
what
the
he said.
5th. He's the 5th player in NFL history to score 20 plus touchdowns.
Yeah.
As a running back.
Who?
Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler, fifth running back ever to score 20 plus touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry's still in there. I don't care that
Oh, Derrick Henry's
dude,
number 1. No, Derrick Henry's
Jonathan-
number 1.
Nick
This
Chubb.
season, Jonathan Taylor. but-
Okay,
Nick Chubb.
yes, but what I'm gonna say is though is this is the first time Derrick Henry's ever been hurt, and he literally was still leading the NFL in rushing for 2 to 3 weeks after he got hurt.
After he was injured. Dude,
Right.
he's still, I think, 5th in yards, and he hasn't played since before Halloween.
Week 8 was his last game.
Yeah,
He's not 5th in
Halloween.
yards. He's
Yeah.
not 5th in yards.
He might be 7th then.
Yeah.
But again, he hasn't played.
He almost ran for 1,000 yards in less than 8 weeks.
I think he was around like 700 or 800. Yeah.
It's 900. He was a 900 and something.
Was it 900?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking of his after contact stat that was
Yeah,
also
yeah,
leading
yeah,
the league.
yeah.
There's 3 top 10 running backs in the AFC North alone.
What?
There's 3 top 10 running
Najee
backs.
is not there
Cow.
What do you mean he's top 5 in yards?
Dude, because he got used like a fucking
yet. I was gonna
mule.
say he was a workhorse.
Okay,
back.
he is the number 1 running back in NFL history, most touches in NFL history without a fumble.
That's impressive. That doesn't make him a top. Like
20
I mean,
I feel like
Never-
that's not. I feel like that's not true.
It is
Saquon
true.
just had his first
No,
fumble for a
it
loss.
It's
No.
by Ty. It's literally by like 80 yards, and the next place was it was the list was him, LT, Le'Veon, and
okay, we're not gonna. Okay, Nick Chubb is definitely a top 10
Top
running
5.
back.
He's top
I will
5.
say Mixon is definitely a top 10 running back. I don't know if I'm gonna put Najee Harris after one season.
If
as
he
a
can
top 10.
replicate it
He had
next year,
15
yeah, I'm
he had
100% on
15
board with that.
touchdowns. He had 15 touchdowns and had over 1,600 scrimmage yards.
Again, but my philosophy is I don't go off one season because I think it's not fair.
What I mean, that's the only season he has.
Exactly. That's
but
literally
that's- yeah.
that's literally my reasoning.
Naj,
so
Naj,
How many
Najee is
seasons does it take
Name-
for you?
name
to
your
get-
top-
Is that
For a
new?
running back, I would say at least 2 because
two to show
because the running back's
consistency.
lifespan's shorter.
Name your top 10 then. Name 10 more. Name 9 running backs ahead of him.
Dude, okay. Well, I know I can name. I'll go at least my 5, and then I'll probably have to think a little bit. So I think Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb's in the top 5. I'm trying to look across the league right now. Dalvin Cook's in the top, is up there. Let me look across the league.
But what I'm saying
Austin
is
Eckler just said.
You took out 3 big names out of your top 10 already. Like 3 huge names.
Yeah, I know.
Because
I think if
Saquon
Najee's
and
going to be,
Christian
it's going to be like if Najee is, it's
And
like
Zeke.
9 or 10, and it's an argument. Like Aaron Jones is in the top 10. I'm trying to look across. There's no one in the AFC. I mean the NFC North other than him. And Dalvin Cook. I already said him.
Like who? Okay, Kate, let me
Kamara.
ask you
I'm
this.
taking
Kate,
Kamara. over
Kamara's definitely
Kamara.
top 10.
Yeah. Kamara's already top 5.
Kate, let me ask you this: are you taking this season Elijah Mitchell or Najee?
Najee. I mean Elijah Mitchell didn't play enough games,
Ooh,
but
yeah,
Elijah
he's-
Mitchell's really fucking good.
Okay, I don't know, dude. Like this. Well, first off, this list from PFF.
I'm thinking. Okay, Joe Mixon's definitely better. Okay,
I'm
so
not gonna
that's
say
7.
definitely because it is just one season, but
I'm
yeah,
not
like,
putting Saquon over.
No,
Najee,
Saquon's not in the
sorry.
top 10. I'm trying to go through the divisions.
Saquon fucked me in fantasy so hard.
You've taken Zeke over Najee?
No, Zeke sucks.
PFF has mixed it at 14 here. That's nuts.
As of right now,
very underrated.
You taking James Robinson or no?
No,
He's close.
he is
I would
close.
say
But
he's close.
Then I think Najee.
I think
to
if
be
James
honest,
Robinson would have got the
top
touches
10.
he was supposed to get, yes, I would take James Robinson over
I was
Najee.
gonna say if Urban didn't fuck him,
Yeah, I would definitely take him over him. I'm trying to look at
What I'm saying about Najee is that
You're taking Aaron Jones over Najee?
Yes.
Yes.
What I'm saying is he was top 5 in rushing. He's
done it for
top
4
5,
straight years, dog.
He was top 5. I think he was top 7 in receiving. He had the most touches in the NFL and had the 3rd most touchdowns.
Again, yeah, no. If he maintains that and is able to produce again next year at that rate,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's all I'm saying.
If Jamar Chase didn't do what Jamar Chase did, he'd be Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I think I would agree. I honestly would agree with that. Like,
yeah,
that's why
or Mac Jones.
Mac
Jones would have an argument.
Oh, it's Mac Jones by a mile. It's like, no, it's Jamar Chase, then Najee, and then probably Mac. But
I'm trying to think.
Literally, Najee carried the Steelers on the back for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
How many games did Aaron Jones play this year? I mean, he only had 800 rushing yards.
Yeah, but he had like 800 passing yards too.
I was gonna say because AJ
391.
Dillon also had
really?
700 yards.
I actually would say Najee's like 8, 9, or 10 somewhere in there. Yeah. Because I'm not putting Zeke in there. Dude, it's so hard not to say Christian McCaffrey because he's definitely one of the most talented. But you can't.
I put him.
He hasn't played football.
He's
in 2
almost
years.
on the same level as Saquon though. He doesn't play.
He hasn't played football in 2 years. Like you can't put him in there if he hasn't played football.
But all right, let's touch base on the NFC side real quick. We just went through AFC crazy.
We did.
The NFC, I definitely there's parity in the AFC, but I think there's way more parity in the NFC. Other than the number 1 seed, I think Green Bay is by far the best team in the NFC. But I think these games this week, I have no clue. I have no clue who's gonna win them.
Again, like the Eagles being 8-point dogs to the Buccaneers, I understand from it's defending Super Bowl champs against a team with a rookie head coach, Tom Brady against Jalen Hurts. But I don't give a shit. The Eagles play a type of football that works in the playoffs, and I understand. Like, I don't like hyping up like, oh, playoff football has to have a good running game. Like, I don't necessarily believe that, but like the Eagles style of football,
they're gonna run as
they
much
are
as Tom
going
Brady's
to
gonna throw.
mouth fuck that defense.
They'll have the same amount of rushing yards as Tom Brady has passing yards. In that
The
game.
Philadelphia Eagles need to throw the ball less than 25 times, run it 40 plus times, own the clock, play decent, good enough defense, don't give up any big plays. And the Eagles have a chance to win like 24-20. That's honestly the way.
I really
the Eagles can put up points.
I might just bet all dogs this weekend.
Yeah, the Eagles can 100% put up points, but if they're gonna beat Tampa Bay, they have to have 8-minute drives ending in touchdowns. Period.
Yeah, big time.
Period.
By the way, I found out the Packers actually lead the league in 5+ minute drives that result in a touchdown.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
That's part of the reason why Aaron Rodgers. That's what he does. But if the Philadelphia Eagles have to get into a shootout where Jalen Hurts has to throw a ton, they will actually compete because that's what happened last time. The Eagles were down 21-7 and they lost 28-24. Like, good game. That's a good game. But I don't want to put the reason why the Eagles have been like, I know they played a really weak schedule the last 8 weeks compared to the first 8 weeks, but the reason why they dominated teams is because their defense didn't have to stay on the field more than their offense. That was the problem with the early part of the year, is because the Eagles were chucking it 40 times a game.
Yeah, they weren't running the ball.
They weren't running the ball. They didn't own the clock. They didn't do any of that. Now that they own the clock, they can beat anybody because of it. And it's been proven that they can run on anyone. They ran for 250 yards on the best rushing defense in the NFL in the Saints. 250 yards. Like, they can run on anyone. It don't matter.
Cade, let me ask you this. Are the Eagles better than the New York Football Jets?
They beat them by 30.
Okay.
That's just
the Jets should have beat the Buccaneers 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The Jets won that game for 58 minutes and then for some reason quit playing defense for the final drive. Tom Brady stands in a clean pocket for 8.5 seconds.
Yep.
While some track runner from fucking who gives a shit runs just a wide open vertical and Tom Brady just throws it to him because there's no one within 8 yards of him to win the game.
Yeah.
The Eagles should beat the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are limping into the playoffs. I don't care that they just beat the Panthers, who are by all accounts a dumpster fire currently.
The only thing
by 40.
I just fear Gronk, man. I fear Gronk because I don't fear.
Who's your hardest hitting player?
see, that's the thing, bro. We don't have
No,
the Eagles.
You have flyers.
The
you have literally
Eagles-
flyers. You got Darius Slay and those guys. That
Yeah,
literally
Steven
fly
Nelson.
across the
The
field.
Eagles.
Okay, who's your one linebacker?
Listen, the Eagles used to have the Gronk neutralizer and Malcolm Jenkins.
And Brian Dawkins.
Well, yes, but I'm talking Malcolm Jenkins is when they actually played each other. We don't have
too.
that. We don't have that anymore. We don't have that safety who can play in coverage like that with a big body. Like, we don't have a line. We have linebackers who can play for speed, but I don't think they're going to be able to play with Gronk. Like, the Eagles are going to 100% play zone, and they're going to put everything in front of them and then bank on red zone field goals. That's what they're going to do.
Say, it's kind of, I don't know if Slay follows people around like Ramsey.
No, he does not. He does not follow people around. He owns the left side of the field, and that's where he stays.
If you just run him on an island against Mike Evans and make the rest of the team beat you, I like your chances.
Nope, he will not. He plays left side of the field pretty much only.
Okay, so he plays like how Sherman used to play.
Pretty much, but like...
But can actually guard man-to-man.
Yeah, like literally, it's like he has like the best, other than that, AJ Terrell, he has like the best passer rating in single coverage.
Stud for Atlanta.
Yes, he's a damn.
That's a great name, by the way. You think
it is.
AJ Terrell? I think Slay's a great name for a freaking football player.
It is. No, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
So then there's the 49ers going into Jerry World to play the Cowboys.
I honestly think it's gonna be the best game of the week.
It could very well be. It's the 49ers are coming in as 3-point dogs. I personally, I think the Cowboys offense is a joke. That's why I don't understand why Kellen Moore is up for so many coaching jobs. Like, you take a look at the offense, and like, you have Ezekiel Elliott, who regarded from not this podcast but around the league as a top 10 running back. Dak is a top 10.
He's a top 10 talent. He's a top 10 talent.
Listen,
But that's okay. Wait. Let me get to my point.
Okay, wait. Can I just comment on what you just said about Zeke? Though I just have one comment. Zeke since 2018, has gone down every single year in yards per game. In 2018, he was at 106. He's now not even averaging 60. I just wanted to point that out. But go ahead.
Also, Tony Pollard is a stud back there.
Yes, he is.
So you have Zeke, who's underperforming on an offense that is surrounded by a top 10 quarterback in Dak, and then you, barring injury, arguably the best receiving core in the league.
With a great offensive line.
Yes. So when you look at that offense, it has been absolutely anemic. It's been a joke. So I don't understand why Kellen Moore's up for so many like head coaching gigs when you're the offensive coordinator of one of the most talented on paper teams in the league, and you guys are averaging like 24 points a game. It's very odd. I don't get it. But to that point, the 49ers defense, if they have any type of rush, if Bosa gets going, who Bosa quietly had, I think, like 17 sacks this year.
He's a national treasure, by the way. Both of them. Yeah, it's just the 49ers play a type of ball. They can mix up trick plays. They have Kittle, who is a nightmare for most people. Now, the Cowboys do have a pretty stellar defense for once, which is odd to say. But the 49ers, just from a standpoint, like, they have better receivers. They have a better running game. Honestly, I believe they have a better running game. Their line is also no joke. Their defense, in my opinion, is up there with Dallas's. Now, I understand, Trayvon Diggs. Deebo Samuels is about to make Trayvon Diggs his bitch. Trayvon Diggs gave up the most yards in
history,
in the NFL.
I think.
Yeah.
But he had 11 interceptions, boys. Yeah. Woo!
It's sexy.
Wait, I saw a TikTok about him. Trayvon Diggs broke the record for completion percentage in one-on-one against him. It was like 65% of passes are completed when he's in one-on-one. He's given up like he gave up the most yards as a corner in the NFL this year.
Yeah. I saw there was a Cowboys fan cave that tweeted Diggs versus Adams. This guy will be the show in the NFC Championship game, and every Packers account was just like, yeah, Adams will break the record for most yards in a playoff game.
Yeah. It was like some
you put
crazy...
those two on an island together. This dude's going for maybe 400 yards.
He goes for.
It just goes to show. It just goes to show that turnovers are just sexy. They don't tell a full story. No, that's all it is.
Yeah, this dude was up for Defensive Player of the Year at one point.
No, he still is.
It's so gross.
I mean, he had 7-6 in 6 games. Like, yeah, I mean, it was justified, but
yeah, it's a lot of that's luck, though.
But he gave up like 800 yards in those 6 games.
Yeah, but then he kind of like fell off and he started to give up a bunch of yards.
But yeah, so I honestly like I don't know where the public's money is. I think it's probably on the Cowboys because it's the Cowboys. It's America's team.
Yeah.
But dude, I really think like of all the games, like this is going to be one of my bets, but I am taking the 49ers as dogs, man. I just don't see like especially by 3. I love the 49ers in this game. Plus I think I like Shanahan more than McCarthy. Like
I was just about to say I'm taking the coaching battle too. Easily.
Yeah, I think if you run down the paper, like all of my check marks are on the 49ers side from my standpoint.
Yeah, I'm taking.
Now, could my analysis be completely wrong? Yeah, absolutely. I just looking at it like from a season like as a whole, I think the 49ers are just a better team and they're hotter right now. And then
the money line even.
Yeah, it's not a bad hit. Then the Monday night game, first ever, is the Rams and the Cardinals. Obviously, division rivals. They finished 1-2 in the West. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's in LA, which doesn't really mean anything. They're both domes, so there's nothing really going on there. It's just, like I said earlier on the podcast, Matt Stafford has 7 picks in the last 3 weeks. That's not sustainable in the playoffs by any stretch. And we don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is going to be back. He's still working on that MCL injury that he has. But if he is back, I mean, D-Hop and Jalen is obviously a great matchup. The real question is just, can Matthew Stafford not turn it over, and can that defense hold stop teams? Which I think the answer is yes. It's just stopping the Cardinals isn't easy.
No, that game will be like 33-28.
JJ Watt's back, right?
Yes,
no.
he was activated.
Is he actually going to play though?
Yeah,
but is he actually going to play? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Him and Chandler Jones are back. All 3 Watt brothers in the playoffs.
They are, yeah. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this one. I'm going to avoid it betting wise, but
same.
It is so hard for me not to look at the Cardinals as dogs and take them.
The Cardinals, but this is the difference though between this matchup, like compared to like say the 49ers. The 49ers are the Rams' kryptonite because the Rams are built for speed. They're built for the outside. They're built they're not built.
That's why I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys for that exact reason.
Yeah, the Cardinals are not built to ground and pound and fight you. Like they're not going to beat you that way. They're going to beat you with their
until he gets down to the goal line. Then James Conner runs in the 18th or 19th touchdown.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But yeah, of course.
Actually
but I'm saying like the Rams are set up to beat teams like the Cardinals more than they're set up to beat teams like the 49ers.
Yeah, that one's interesting. So that leaves so then the Packers obviously are on a bye. Packers can play the Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, or Eagles. The 2 teams that can run the ball scare me for obvious reasons. There's a history there of the Packers not being able to stop a run. I mean, hell, just 2016, top of my head, Colin Kaepernick ran for roughly 300 yards as a quarterback. So, God, that one hurt so much. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for the games, dude. I love the playoffs. So, all right, we gonna pick these games? Who we think's coming out of what?
The only thing I can say it's gonna be. I mean, we're gonna probably majority of us we're all betting these games.
I'm 100% betting on this shit.
Yeah, but both bets are gonna be from this weekend. So I mean,
we can definitely we can do it then.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, let's get to now that we're an hour and a half in. Well, hour and 20 minutes in. Let's talk about coaching vacancies because yes, as we've alluded to a couple times yesterday at the time of recording was Black Monday. Currently, these are the teams that need coaches. I didn't write down GMs, but some of these teams also need GMs. Right now, it runs as Bears, Vikings, Giants, Raiders, Broncos, Jaguars, and Dolphins. Which I think we all unanimously agree the Dolphins one is fucking insane.
Yes.
Worst. That is the definition of why teams stay average. Period.
Well, okay, so I found out their GM has been their GM for 21 years. So you mean to tell me the dude that has led 21 years of mediocrity in Miami gets to keep his job, but the guy that led you to back-to-back winning seasons gets the can because they had a disagreement in
Not only back-to-back winning seasons, he started the season 1-7 and got to a winning season.
And rattled off 8 of 9.
Yes.
To miss the playoffs by a game.
Yes.
Yeah, the Brian Flores one is insane to me, and personally, the guy that hired Adam Gase should be the one that gets fired, not the guy that followed Adam Gase. Also the guy who traded
multiple picks with the Philadelphia Eagles to move up.
Did it with the Texans too, buddy.
Yep, and to draft Tua, right? When Herbert was drafted behind. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say
again. Scouting is scouting. I mean,
I understand, but no matter what, we gotta look at the. I mean, listen, you gotta look at what happened, no matter what.
No, I mean,
right?
Alex Smith will always be tied at the hip to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, can we not say that? We can't sit here and say that. Hey, Tua had a hip injury that still has obviously bothered him the last 2 seasons. When there was a player like Herbert out there, we can't sit here and say like, hey, why did Ryan Pace? Part of the reason why Ryan Pace got fired is because he drafted Mitchell Trubisky instead of Pat Mahomes.
Up.
Oh, yeah, moved. Yes, he traded up to trade for getting a guy like Trubisky when there was a guy like Deshaun. I'm not going to say Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to say Deshaun Watson, who was a proven college champion and is also fantastic. So like
going up to draft Daniel Jones, going up
like there's you like no matter how we look at it. When people get fired, like those decisions are definitely part of it. I mean, it just is what it is. When a GM is evaluating a coach, an owner is evaluating a GM. Period.
No, I mean it's pretty simple. If and when Aaron Rodgers leaves and Jordan Love's, if he's still there, I mean he might not be there depending on if the fact that Aaron comes back. But if Jordan sticks around and then gets his shot and fails miserably, Gutekunst is gone. Even though he drafts insanely well over the last 3 years, other than that pick.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
I think Brian Flores is going to get scooped up quickly.
He's going to go to the Bears.
I think either
Bears or Vikings.
That's what I thought it was going to be the Bears or Vikings. But
it's the Bears or Vikings.
Okay, well, if you were him, where would you go? Which one?
I'd go to the Vikings.
I'd go to the
Vikings 100%.
I would go to the Vikings too. Yeah, I would too.
Like Kirk Cousins, I understand. Sure, he's at least a veteran that knows that's been there. Their offensive weapons are insane.
Yes.
I will tell you this: if he goes to the Vikings, he significantly improved his roster by switching jobs. Significantly, because the Vikings, I think
the Bears, it's basically the Dolphins still.
Yeah, I think the Vikings, yes,
with a quarterback controversy. It's the Bears of the North. I mean, it's the Dolphins of the North, but with a quarterback controversy.
Yeah,
I
had last year.
I think the biggest problem with the Vikings was Mike Zimmer, and I think they would be if they had a better competent coach. I think they'd be in the playoffs this year. They're talented enough.
I don't know who I was talking to, or if it was just a conversation I had with myself at some point. There was a stat at one point this year, like through 12 weeks, if the Vikings, I think I may have even said it on here. If the Vikings didn't give up a point in the last 2 minutes of the game, they were 12-0.
Yeah, the Vikings were up at least 7 points every game through like 13 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, but again, like
if you can't win.
Zimmer's a defensive coach. In the last 2 minutes of every game through the first 12 weeks, if they don't give up a single point in the last 2 minutes, which by all accounts is where you win football games, literally, they're 12-0 and the best team in the league.
The thing that's crazy about the Mike Zimmer as a defensive coach, though, I don't think that Mike Zimmer's put out a good defense since 2018 when they went to the NFC Championship.
No, when they went. So, yes, you would be correct. I went back and looked at this because I was curious myself. He's been in the bottom half, so below 15 for the last 3 years.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was time for him to go.
He actually should have been gone almost 2 years ago.
Flores is a defensive coach too, right?
Yes.
That might be all oriented,
they need. Yes. I mean, that's what the Dolphins' strength was last year. That was their whole thing, is they had a top 10 defense.
And their defense came on at the end of the year this year. Like they finally, if everything finally clicked for them. And I'm going to be honest with you, Tua, I know Ty and the yards per attempt in the dump down game that Tua plays. They went 7-1. Like Brian Flores figured out a way to win 7 out of 8 football games to have a chance to make the playoffs. Like that's,
I'm not saying
crazy. That they got rid of him though. Like he's gonna flourish. He's gonna go to the right place, and he's gonna flourish.
I tweeted out. I said it's the biggest mistake of any franchise has ever made.
Well, he's defensive minded. Even coming to the Broncos isn't bad. The Broncos are loaded up with talent. They're a quarterback away.
He literally was up. He got votes as coach of the year last year.
He's gonna get some this year too,
dude. If you win, okay. I'm telling you right now that the Eagles got 9 wins this year. If they go 10-7 next year, and they were to fire Nick Sirianni, I'm fucking done. I'm done. If a coach gets 19 wins and has 2 winning seasons in his first 2 seasons with a very average roster, like let's keep it a buck. Very average roster. It's not like they're just crawling with playmakers. They're not like I can understand Mike Zimmer getting fired going 8-9 because he has more playmakers than he should have. He's got two top 20 wide receivers, including one that's top 3 right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he has a top 5 running back. And in my opinion, Kirk Cousins, for sure a top 15 quarterback. You can
top
put him
15,
anywhere.
Yes,
anywhere
I will
from
absolutely give you top 15.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. Yeah, I don't need to
12.
argue. I'm just saying.
Fringe 12.
So you have a better half quarterback. You have a top 5 running back, 2 top probably 25. I'm going to say Thielen's at least top 25.
Thielen's top 20, dude.
Yeah.
Thielen is
wide receivers,
really
and you're supposed to be a defensive coach. You go 8-9, you deserve it.
No, they have, dude. Harrison Smith, their safety is a top 3 safety in the league.
Right. Like
Dude
they deserve it.
does
They had Everson
everything.
Griffin. They had Everson Griffin for those years, and he was a stud. Like you don't deserve to be a head coach at that point.
No,
Brian Flores was
I
working
like-
with the bottom of the barrel. Like literally the bottom of the barrel, and he went 19 wins in 2 seasons. That's crazy. It's horrid.
Yeah, no, look, Flores will find a job. I hope it's not in the North because that's scary for me.
Horrid. And I think he'll be smart, and he's not going to go somewhere like the Giants. He's not going to go somewhere like a place that I don't think he'll go to the Bears because of that. Like the Bears are just a failing
he could go to the
organization.
Raiders as well. Like
The Raiders would be a
think-
good spot.
I think the Raiders keep their interim coach.
I don't think Bisaccia stays around. Honestly, he
I
was a
think
special team.
I think if they
I
make
think he does.
if they make a playoff run, like if they do well, like say if they win a
It's
game
hard
or 2
not
in
to.
the playoffs, it's hard not to.
If they beat the if they beat the Bengals and then get their asses whooped by the Titans, which I don't think would happen. I think I think they could beat the Titans.
Yep.
I don't know, maybe, but it's just one of those things.
It's
where,
hard
like,
when you got a guy that you rallied around and then you just fire him. Like the team,
and I
the
get
locker
that.
room definitely bought in. Like it's one of those.
No,
things.
they bought into Bisaccia big time.
Yeah, but like
It's just,
he's gonna.
it's just one of those things where typically interim head coaches do not
Stay.
not get to stick around. Like
No.
Romeo Crennel last year when he was the head coach of the
Texans.
for that hot minute. I mean, they won like 4 of their last 5 to close out the season, and they still booted him.
Yeah,
When they were awful all year.
I just don't know how. Like if you're like, let's be honest. Like if you're Flores, like I just saw Eric Goodman just tweeted about the I'm gonna go read it real quick. He just tweeted about the odds for the Bengals coach. Right now, it's Dan Quinn,
Zach
Jim
Taylor.
Caldwell, Leslie Frazier, Nathaniel Hackett. I don't even know who that is.
Packers
Jonathan
OC.
Gannon, Byron Leftwich, Eric Benenemy, Doug Pederson, Brian Dable, and Kellen Moore. How in the world would the Broncos not even... The Broncos should be on the phone immediately.
With Flores, I completely agree.
Immediately. What,
Like again,
immediately.
like, which roster is more talented, the Broncos or the Dolphins?
I would say
To
the
me,
Broncos.
it's the Broncos.
I think the Broncos, if the Broncos can just land at least a quarterback of the future, the
Kirk
Broncos will
Cousins
be in the
or better
playoffs.
quarterback.
Yeah, the Broncos will be in the playoffs if they have a quarterback.
No, dude, they had a top 3 defense in points per game.
Yep.
Which ideally is where you want to be. But the thing is, they averaged, it was 17.9 points per game the defense gave up. That's insane. They averaged like 18 a game.
Yeah, not good.
Like you have to average at least 24 or more to be competitive.
Yeah, their last 4 weeks they average under 14.
Yeah, that can't happen.
Yeah, that's bad.
So you put a competent offense in there, a competent quarterback. Like you have Tim Patrick, KJ Hamler. You have so many offensive pieces. You have
They have a
Javonte
great running
Williams,
back
you have
room.
Melvin Gordon.
Great running back room.
It's insane. They have so many good pieces. They have Noah Fant and Alex Okabuga or whatever
Jerry
the fuck his name
Judy.
is.
Jerry Judy's good.
Jerry Judy.
Courtland
That was the
Sutton's
other one I was
good.
trying to think of.
Yep, Courtland
They're-
Sutton's good.
Courtland Sutton, Tim Patrick. They're both. Those two are like 6'5" receivers.
Mm-hmm.
They have so many good players on offense, and then they have Teddy Checkdown and Drew Lock, who no one knows what he is because he's incredibly inconsistent.
Yep.
Like, get a decent quarterback in there. I'm not even saying an Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson caliber
No,
player.
a quarterback like Kirk Cousins would take that team to the playoffs. Easy. Like
I shit on Kirk, but
yeah.
like Kirk Cousins would be a great fit here.
Yeah, like a quarterback. Like, okay, let's just think of another one that's like, I'm not saying average, but like I would, on God, I'm saying this right now, Baker Mayfield will take that team to the playoffs because, in my opinion,
They have a good running game and they have.
I think Denver has a better situation than the Browns do. That's just me.
Mariota would be fine.
Jameis Winston. There's people out there.
I think right now in this exact moment where we are in time, I think that now, granted, the Broncos don't have a coach. We're only talking about the roster. I would say that the roster in Denver, I think, has a more inspiring future than the one in Cleveland does.
Well,
I'm saying take out Baker.
I don't want to.
I'm saying take out Baker, and Baker either is with Denver or Baker's with Cleveland. Who do you think has a more inspiring roster?
Also, situation.
Dude. You got to remember the respective divisions they're in.
They're both in tough divisions. They're both in tough divisions.
They're both in tough divisions.
So I understand what you're saying, Ty. I definitely agree with that. If the AFC West,
Carr, Herbert, and Mahomes.
Dude, we all know that Burrow, the Steelers are going to land someone, and Lamar's obviously good. We're talking the AFC North has been the best. It's been one of the best divisions.
This is the decider. Which defense was better this year? Because I think
Denver.
Offensively, I think they're comparable.
Denver's significantly better.
Denver.
Defensive though. Cleveland's defense underperformed like crazy.
Yeah,
and Denver, I think, can perform as a top 5 defense year in and year out. That was my big thing this year. Why I picked them to go to the playoffs.
That's losing Von Miller.
I also, Ty, me personally, I also think the wide receiving core for Denver is much better, and I also think the running back room is equal in my opinion.
It's comparable. I would say it's comparable, but I will give receiver nod to Denver for sure.
So I'm just saying, if you're a quarterback, right? If
you're also fucking young.
Let me ask you this: if you're Aaron Rodgers and you have 1 year to win a championship, are you going to Denver or are you going to Cleveland?
It's Denver.
You're going to Denver. That's what I'm saying. Because Cleveland, I think Cleveland going into the season was obviously the choice, but that defense did not play well. They were advertised. They were extremely advertised well, and someone like Herbert hung 40 some on them. That's bad.
47.
Yeah, that's bad. The only thing that's attractive, going into the season, compared to, I think, Denver, if you were Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, someone like that, who's trying to go win a championship, is I do think when OBJ was there, and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and they're all healthy, I think Jarvis, he's, obviously a great slot receiver. I think that was more attractive.
Austin Hooper's a good tight end too.
Yeah, Austin Hooper, he's a good tight end. I think going into the season it was more attractive, but without OBJ, Kareem Hunt is a free agent. I personally don't view Denver. I mean, I don't view Cleveland.
Cleveland has one of the best lines in the league, though. I'll give them that.
Yes,
very good offensive line.
I also think that next year there's more uncertainty in the AFC North than there is in the AFC West.
So you're saying as in it would be better to play for Cleveland for that reason you're saying?
Going into next year.
I agree. 100%.
Because you look at they don't know what's happening with Baker. We know it's Burrow's there. Okay.
Burrow's not going anywhere. Lamar
obviously Ben is gone. We don't know what we're doing. But they got to decide what they're gonna do with Lamar though.
There is a lot of question marks in the AFC North. There's probably almost more question marks in the AFC North than any other division in football.
Yeah, you look at the AFC West. Mahomes is there. Herbert's there.
For 10 years. Herbert's not going anywhere.
Maybe more.
Derek Carr's most likely going to stay, but there is parity with him. We don't know what's going to happen.
Derek Carr should not stay.
I don't think he's
I hope the Raiders Rebuild and Derek Carr goes to a championship caliber team because I think he deserves it.
I would love him in Pittsburgh. I think he would embody Pittsburgh.
Yes, he would.
Of like the hard nosed.
The guy that was crying on the ground.
Yeah,
dude, his interview was Kobe-esque. It was so freaking good, dude. So good. They're like, why are you not excited? He's like, because I just knew. He's like, this is it. And I'm not. And he's like, my job's not done. I'm here. We won the game.
The dude gets it. I mean,
he's like,
the dude gets it.
He's like, I'm expected to win.
He's played
He's like, I'm going on the next week. It was so good.
He hasn't played enough.
Well, he would have had. He got them to the number 1 seed and then broke his leg.
Yeah, towards ACL.
Yeah.
Literally straight up number 1 seed and then get bounced in the first game, just ruined.
Yep.
No, I think
I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
The Broncos literally just need a confident quarterback. That's literally
If the Broncos land any quarterback that's above average, they are in the playoffs next year.
So, and that's
I've said the same thing twice now. I've said this 2 years now. I've said this. That if they have any type of average quarterback, they're in the playoffs.
No, and I agree. That's
like
why
if you
I don't.
put even if you put Jalen Hurts on that team, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
As an elite athlete.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston, they're in the
Jameis
playoffs.
is a question mark for me, but I can see he's better than Teddy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He whipped up on the Packers week 1, that's for sure.
Oh my god, that was 4 months ago. It was 4 months ago.
5 tutties on 14 passes. Aaron Rodgers
efficient.
had 0 touchdown passes and 2 interceptions.
But yeah,
And then 2 in the next 16 fucking
it's
weeks.
definitely. We saw the firings. It's definitely going to ramp up here soon. We're going to see people getting hired and going forth and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting for sure. But
hey,
I definitely.
can I ask you guys a question about it though, Cal?
Biggest
Just 'cause
shock
you said
was
it?
Flores.
I'm gonna ask you guys 2 questions, an A and B part. A, if you're a head coach, okay, out of all the
head coach,
if you're a head coach and you're interviewing at these places, you have a choice of all of them. Okay, I'm not counting the Vikings, and I'm also not counting the Broncos as the 2, like, because those are definitely the 2 like best spots. If you have a
I
choice,
think they have to be just from a personnel standpoint.
yes, yeah, they are from a personnel
And
standpoint.
division. I think going into that division with the NFC North, yeah, you got the Packers. But
It's significantly
you have just the
easier than a
Packers.
lot of places. Yes.
You just have the Packers.
Yeah,
Right.
like to me, the Vikings are the most interesting one because everyone knows Aaron is eventually on his way out. Even if he plays 5 more years to 43,
The Packers will find a way.
It's
They're going
still
to their
it
championship
is what
caliber.
it is.
They're a championship caliber franchise. They're going to get someone to play them.
Wait. Let me ask my question though. What I'm
Okay.
saying is other than the Vikings and the Broncos, because those are like the 2 cherry pick answers. You have the Bears, Giants, Raiders, Jags, and Dolphins
Dolphins.
Mhm.
as your picks of what team you want to be hired by. Who are you choosing?
I'd say Dolphins or Jags for me. Those
I'm
are my
going
two.
with the
Yeah,
Raiders.
me too. I'm going with
Raiders.
Yeah, I like honestly, big poker player here. Taking the Raiders. I'm taking the Raiders.
I would say
Playing
that
poker
I would
in
say
Vegas.
I'm going. In my opinion, I'm going off of where's the easiest place to get better players to come, and I'm choosing Miami and I'm choosing Vegas.
Well, it's Miami because Miami there's no state tax.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And-
Right.
Then to boot.
No, don't forget
I
about
mean,
Jags too.
Yeah,
down
I
there.
mean the Raiders.
Jags are down there too.
Las Vegas is an appealing place to be.
Yeah,
Right.
Jags, Miami, or Vegas.
Right. So let me ask you guys this then. Now the second part.
Vegas for me.
Now, if you're a team and you have a choice of any head coach beside, what's his face from that just got fired from Miami, Flores. Besides Flores, because obviously again the cherry pick answer. Who are you picking to bring on as your coach?
A lot of
Urban.
people say Nathaniel Hackett, who's the Packers OC, but I'm not hiring Nathaniel Hackett because again,
Dude,
LaFleur
that's-
does call the plays. They work together. Like
And
the
you're
Packers
dude.
are
Listen,
good.
the teams give
Urban.
offensive
I'm the same
coordinators
way
way
about
too
EB,
much
too.
credit. Teams give offensive coordinators way too much credit for Aaron Rodgers basically winning them a lot of games. Like it's just facts.
Mine is Jim Harbaugh.
Really, I agree. I mean, I think Jim's really good.
I mean, he's been there, done that.
I have 2. If I besides Flores, I would choose either Doug Peterson or Jim Harbaugh. If Jim Harbaugh is available,
Honest
Those
to
are my
God, mine's
two.
Caldwell. Mine's Jim Caldwell.
Jim Caldwell
You guys-
is 3rd for me.
You guys got to understand. Jim Caldwell took the Lions to their last winning season and got them to 10-6 and in the playoffs,
Mhm.
and then got fired the year after because they went like 4-12.
Right.
What had the last winning season for one of the biggest poverty franchises in the NFL in the last 30 years.
Yep.
Had 2 all-time players. Like for me it's Jim Caldwell, and I still don't know how he doesn't have a job because dudes rally around him. He's a player's coach, very similar to Tomlin. Now maybe not as fiery as Tomlin, but he gets people going like Tomlin does. Again, you don't just get the Lions, who are dog shit, to 10-6 by a fluke.
Right. Agreed.
Like, no, he got fired. It wasn't 4-12. It was 8-8, and then got fired. It was an Eagles situation.
Yeah, the Eagles. If they have one coach go below 500, they just fire him.
Yeah, I genuinely believe that Jim Caldwell with the Lions was like 3 or 4 games under 500 in his 3 or 4 years there, and they fired him. It makes 0 sense to me.
I might take Joe Brady.
Joe Brady got fired as an OC this year, dude.
I might not take Joe Brady. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got fired from Carolina.
Yeah, that was a really bold claim out of the fucking dark.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a report. I don't even know who's available. Not even.
Dude, okay, so like here, like
Honestly,
to be fair, even what I just said about Bieniemy, the same thing about Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, probably him. I would probably take out of just. I mean, I don't know. He's been on. Super Bowl
Nathaniel
team.
Hackett was also the OC that took the Jacksonville Jaguars to the AFC Championship game.
If for some reason, Tomlin either retired or got fired for some goddamn reason like this year, I would want us to roll out the red carpet for Jim Harbaugh and have him play 2 times against his brother a year.
We're never gonna get rid of Tomlin, but
he's saying if he retired. Like if he
retired, like if something were to happen,
dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I agree.
Harbaugh.
I think Jim Harbaugh, no matter where if he goes in the NFL, no matter where he goes, he will be successful. He had
36 fucking wins in his first 4 years with the 49ers, and then they get rid of him.
Yeah.
No, he left.
And a Super Bowl.
No, he
and
left.
Super Bowl.
They didn't get rid of him. He left for Michigan
because him and Singletary butted heads.
Right, but he left for Michigan.
And a Super Bowl appearance that they should have won, which was cheating.
Power went out.
Cheating. His brother cheated.
It was rigged because it was Ray Lewis's last game.
His brother cheated.
It was rigged because it was Ray Lewis's last game.
I understand the whole Harbaugh thing, but yeah, me personally, if I'm the Broncos or if I'm any team that wants to get people going, like really wants to build that type of like chemistry in the locker room first, for me it's Caldwell. Because he's been there and done it with one of the worst franchises in the league. Like maybe it's just because I don't want to take a first time head coach, but like I'd much rather I'm cool with Doug Peterson as well because he's been there and done it before.
Yes, I would. So depending on like the situation, if I was the Bears,
I am so interested to see which team hires Leftwich if someone does because I don't know how he's going to perform.
Again, another offensive coordinator that's getting too much credit for having a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Is with BA and with Bruce Arians
and all-time lineup.
It doesn't matter. Like it's such a listen. Yeah. We're like the thing is that there's only been a few in my mind that worked out that were offensive coordinators that played for a good head coach. I mean, as an offensive coordinator for a good head coach with a good quarterback and worked out. I'm going to say that Pedersen worked out because he won a Super Bowl. I'm going to say guys like
who do you work for in the past?
He was Andy Reid's offensive coordinator.
Andy Reid's coaching tree, other than Nagy, is actually pretty successful.
And let's be honest, Nagy. And let's be honest, I know Nagy had a rough couple years to end this, but he was solid to begin. It just got sour. But I also don't want to blame that completely on Nagy because, how are we going to blame it completely on Nagy when Ryan Pace literally set him up to fail?
No. Ryan Pace is dog shit, but also the McCaskies have way too much say in that organization.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, there isn't a lot of teams that when they hire an offensive coordinator, okay,
McVay was one of those guys.
Yeah, McVay worked out 100%.
LaFleur.
Who was the Titans?
He was the Titans OC when they had a 25 or worse in all categories. Their offense was 25th or worse in every.
See, that's what I was gonna say, Ty. I don't think
Stefanski.
He doesn't fall in that category for me because he wasn't on a high-powered offense that had a Hall of Fame quarterback. And then went to be a head coach, and then most likely fail. He was on a struggling offense, but just showed that he's a good head coach candidate and got the job. Like that's what I'm saying. They're not the same.
Guy like Sean McVay too. Look at him. Yes, they had a decent roster. They did. They had the number 1 running back in the league at the time. But they still had a young quarterback. Didn't know what he was going to do. And
Jared Goff was an MVP candidate because of this man.
Exactly. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That he was one. Was Stefanski an OC?
Yes, for the Vikings.
Stefanski was Minnesota's OC.
Yes. So he's another one to me. Because he's successful.
You think he's successful?
He took Case Keenum to the fucking championship game.
No, but we're talking about him as a head coach. Do we think Stefanski's a successful head coach?
I think he is. He took the Browns to their first.
Dude, he got the Browns their first win in 20 years.
Yeah. I would agree. I would say that. Yeah. I would say he teeters on average to good.
And almost got to the AFC Championship game. He was a play away.
Literally a play away.
I agree. I don't think he's a bad coach by any means, at all.
Again, I still think this season was an outlier for the Browns. Now, time will tell, obviously. I don't think that they are as bad. I think injuries definitely hurt them a lot this year. I do.
I've been saying it since day one that the Browns are only as good as as Baker will take them.
I think that we can all agree with that after seeing this because, I mean, guys, I was calling week 8 and 9, I was calling for Case to play. Like, Baker needed to stop and just let Case play the rest of the year.
I just came up with another name of an offensive coordinator that was on a Hall of Fame fucking team that didn't work out as a head coach. Sean McDermott. Not Sean McDermott, sorry. Patriots. OC. McDaniels, not McDermott. McDaniels. Yeah. Another one.
He had a 2-year stint here because everyone promised, like he promised everybody the world out
the
here.
The next coming of Christ, and like they made the playoffs.
He couldn't. He has no people skills to actually be a head coach and talk to the public. He doesn't relate to players because he can't actually bring an entire locker room together. He's used to talking to just the quarterback room, basically. Yep. Like he's not head coach material.
Right, exactly. But what happened? The scenario was so set up for him. He was a offensive coordinator on a championship team with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Yep. Like they give them, like I'm saying, like they give coordinators too much credit for like team success. When like majority of like offensive coordinators are usually getting hired out of like fantastic offenses that are coming from the head coach, quarterback play typically. Like that's what I'm saying.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
that's why I genuinely don't believe. Like I think Kellen Moore could be potentially one of the worst hires ever.
That'd be awful. I would never hire Kellen Moore. If the Eagles were in this situation, they hired Kellen Moore, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, like he's 34 and he's leading this offense down just a black hole. Like I'm sorry, the Cowboys' offense is not good on paper.
No.
Period.
No, they're the best offense on paper, but they're bad on the field.
And on actual real world paper like this, they suck.
Yeah. The reason why I was happy about Nick Sirianni is because the Colts didn't have an elite offense, and the Eagles hired him because he was literally a guy that they thought could lead a group of men.
Again,
that's why they like
really bad, like really poor communication skills to the media, but it translates on the field, so it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter, and it was only his open. It was only his opening interview. His opening interview was bad, but other than that, he's been fine.
Listen, the greatest
that
coach
one where
of
he
all,
has the
stutter and everything, it was bad.
The greatest coach of all time, we arguably say with Belichick, is the worst communicator to the media. Worst.
Shows up on the field.
Don't talk to anyone. You don't.
Next question.
Exactly. So
no, okay. The one where it was after they had lost a couple. I think it was their 4th or 5th loss this season.
Yeah.
And he goes, "We have all of the seeds are there right now. We're down in the manure. We're just planting these seeds. Soon they're gonna sprout and come out, and then everyone's gonna see what we've been building here." It was just a really cheesy thing where he talked about gardening.
Like Dan Campbell.
Yeah, the biting kneecaps and shit. I mean, to be fair, hey, on DC they never quit.
No.
The Lions are maybe the best 3-13 team ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. No, I agree. Definitely. I mean, he definitely
and plus, hey, the Lions over the last 7 weeks when Dan Campbell started calling plays, no one knew he was an offensive play caller, and he's been calling very good games.
I love Dan Campbell. You want to know why I love Dan Campbell? Because they were freaking bad all year long, but every single week they played for him. That is a good head coach.
Well, and that's just it. He started calling plays, and they started playing better.
That is a good head coach, though. Like a good head coach is people who buy in and at least go out and compete for your head coach. That's how you know you have a good head coach.
Plus,
Mike Tomlin is only as good as he is. What'd you say?
Their running backs coach is Deuce Staley.
I know they are. They do. Everyone wanted the Eagles to hire him as a head coach last year, and I'm really glad they didn't. But
not head coach, running back coach, sure.
He's been a running back coach for the Eagles forever. But I'm the reason why Mike Tomlin, when they had Duck Hodges and fucking Mason Rudolph as their quarterbacks, go 8-8 is because that defense walked in that freaking room the next day, and Mike Tomlin's like, "Hey man, you guys got to do the job. You're gonna have to step up," and they want to do that for him. That's the thing is
play away from the playoffs that year.
They want to do that for him. That's what makes a great head coach, and that's why Urban Meyer failed because he never had that, never once. It was over.
No, not even a little bit, dude. You can't lose a game and then stay in the state and go to a fucking party house.
Yep,
and stick your finger up a butthole.
Yeah,
up a 19-year-old's ass.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, though. Majority of these... Dude, Joe Judge ran a fucking QB sneak on his own 6-yard line on 3rd and 9. And you tell me you believe in your team? How are you supposed to get...
His rant after the week 17 loss, not 18, but the week after 17 was awful.
You know what's really funny is last year he complained about the Philadelphia Eagles not being like legitimate like football team because we threw the game to get a better draft pick.
Through the game, yeah.
Yes, and
you just played not your starters.
And in 2 seasons he didn't eclipse 10 wins.
Yeah, no, he's dog shit.
Yeah.
He's a fucking joke.
Yes. Again, the Giants hired a special teams coordinator as their head coach because he coached with Belichick. Like, what the hell? That's terrible.
Maybe it can work. Rich Bisaccia he was the special teams coach. It's worked for him. I just think that Joe Judge is you cannot be a walking cliche. You have to believe in yourself and the shit you are feeding your team, because if you don't, they'll see through it. Joe Judge was this big talk-up dude, like, oh, I command a room, this, that. He never did. Urban Meyers was, this bigger-than-life fucking character of himself where he knows everything. He's this big, successful guy came in. No one ever bought into him. Yep. Motor City Dan Campbell. That dude believes in who he is, and he lives that life. He drinks a gallon of coffee a day. He is in the gym with all the dudes. He lives that insane lifestyle that he puts out there, and his dudes know it, and they buy into it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, we all agree that Broncos or Vikings is probably the most ideal position. With excluding those two, it really can be a toss-up. What's the least desirable? Because to me, it's the Bears.
The Giants.
Giants or Bears for me, yeah,
Giants.
Okay. In a very hard market in New York, well, New Jersey. Did you guys see that the city of New York is suing the 2 football teams?
Yeah.
For what?
Being called the New York Giants?
Because they call themselves New York but play in New Jersey.
Yeah, both teams, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested. I do think probably Doug probably gets a job. Brian Flores is getting a job probably before the end of the week.
He should get a job tomorrow.
I do think Caldwell's going to get a job finally somewhere again. You just look it up or what?
Who?
You.
Me? No, I was reading something on Twitter.
Gotcha.
You guys want to do some bets?
Yeah, let's hop into the bets.
I'm also incredibly frustrated that the Penguins game, Malkin's back, is blacked out in my area.
Get a VPN, dude.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I do have a VPN.
You're literally 3 miles.
They're currently up 1-0.
You're literally 3 miles from the
stadium. Big shout out to what's that, kid?
Evan's 3 miles from the stadium on a straight line, and he can't watch it.
Yeah, no, I can't watch any of the Avalanche games because it's blacked out here.
It's fucking stupid.
It's really stupid. I also want to give a big shout out to Evan and mine's teammate on the U.S. Mud Sharks. He bet $1,000 on the Avalanche last night to win and cover 5.5, and they did.
Devin,
yeah.
What a demon!
Bet $1,000 on a parlay Avalanche to win and the over of 5.5.
What a demon! How much did he win? What was the plus?
It wasn't 9. Plus.
It wasn't.
No, the Avalanche are on a 10-game win streak. And he took a point because the over on the line was 6.5.
Did the point, was that the difference?
Oh, he teased it. Okay.
Yeah, he teased it a point.
Was the tease the difference?
No, again, the Avalanche were minus 340 money line last night.
No. I'm saying
was the T. What was the final score?
Yeah.
Oh no, they won. It was 4-3, so 7.
Okay, it would have covered either way. Okay,
yeah,
I'm just saying, dude. Whenever you tease it and it hit, it's such a satisfying feeling.
Oh yeah, no, won $909, I believe.
Yep. I'm ready for my bets.
Me too.
All right.
I'm gonna go first. Called it.
We went.
I'll read everyone's units.
We went horribly last week. We went
last week was bad.
2-6.
Yeah. I went 1-1.
So Ty is minus 2 units. Cade is minus 0.12 units. Cal is minus 2 units, and I am minus 0.12 units.
Perfect.
So Cal and I are fine. We're just minus 2.
Yep, you're down to. You're technically if we're doing it you're down 200.
Yeah. Yep, I get it.
Me and Evan are down 80?
Wait, what is Cade?
We're down. Me and Evan are down $80.
No,
we're not 12.
We're not down 80.
What are the units?
Minus. I lost minus 1.2 units. And so
what
did
Cade lose? 1.2. Okay.
minus 0.12, not 1.2.
0.12.
Minus.
Yes,
We're
both
both negative.
Yes.
Got it.
Both negative 0.12 units.
Yep.
Got it. Damn, Cal and I are in a hole then.
Yeah, well, I went with 2 pluses. So
I am ready.
both of them.
Are you guys
All right,
ready?
Caden.
I am going to take the Las Vegas Raiders plus 6.
Vegas.
It's one I'm staying away from, but
What's the odds, Cade?
Minus 112.
Okay, and next.
I'm going to take the 49ers outright winner plus 130.
So on FanDuel it's plus 140, so I'll give
plus
you
140. Yeah.
I'll give you
Okay.
1.4. Okay. I have, since I've already typed my bets in,
Okay.
I'm actually taking a UFC bet. Giga Chikadze to win by knockout 1.2 units. And then I'm taking the 49ers money line 1.4 units.
You get Chikaze even.
Mm-hmm. He's incredible, and he should be fighting for the title.
No, I agree.
I was.
Did you just say straight up, or did you say knockout?
Knockout. Well, no, he's a big favorite. Well,
I was gonna say, what is that?
It's like my minus 330, like the actual bet.
Okay, but what's the knockout?
1.2 plus 1 point, so 120.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, you don't got to keep units. I have it in this.
It's so Charles can put it on the screen.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
So Evan, I'm just gonna make
Go
mine. I have 49ers plus 3 because I'm taking the points. I'm over this shit.
Okay.
So yeah, 49ers plus 3. That's minus 108.
So 0.92 units.
And give me the Eagles plus 8.5. I'm gonna probably regret that one, but yeah, Eagles plus.
I think they cover. I think they cover easy.
I think they do. I think they win.
What's the units?
Minus 112.
You have FanDuel still pulled up there, Ty?
Yep.
What's the Bills minus 4?
Bills minus 4 is minus 106.
Okay, so Bills minus 4, 106.
So that's 1.94 units.
And then what's the Rams minus 4?
I like the double 4s. Minus 108.
So minus 108. Rams minus 4. Bills minus 4.
4 is always an iffy number because field goals are such a son of a bitch.
I honestly feel I just feel that the Buffalo's going to win by 10 points. I don't think Mac Jones is going to come out.
No, I think
and it's going to be. I think he's going to have a dud.
Again, like I understand they beat it. Like the series is 1-1 this year, but again, Josh Allen threw 30 times in 50-mile-an-hour winds.
The weather here is not great this week. So up here on the lake, so that also adds into it as well. Saturday here is. They play Saturday or Sunday?
Bills are Saturday.
It's temperature's 14 degrees, real feel 4. And that's in Erie, so it's even more north than Buffalo.
Yeah.
So, yep.
That is definitely a cold one. Anybody have anything else to add?
No.
The Bulls are number 1 in the East.
I know this is obviously
Bulls are
we're in the middle of
The
still
Bulls are number 1
recording,
in the
but
East.
we'll talk about it after. But yeah, I'm good to go. Is everything here?
Everyone have a great night.
Yeah. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to follow us on all the other platforms, and yeah, have a safe weekend.
Hey, have fun watching Super Duper Wild Card Weekend, everyone.